your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
It is Thursday, the 12th of September, 2024. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. This is news to 6 a.m. on News Power Digital. A horror scene unfolded in Tobago as a mother is mourning after her daughter and two grandchildren were found dead inside the decommissioned Water and Sewage Authority water tank in Palatuvia, Tobago yesterday evening. Police officers from the Moriah Police Station discovered the bodies of Sarah Smith, 33, along with her 3-year-old son, Genuine, and 18-month-old daughter, Phoenix, in the water tank, which is near their home. The grim discovery was made during a search operation, which involved members of the Search and Hunters Rescue Team. The mother and two children were last seen in Trinidad alive on August 30th. However, the last time they were physically seen in Tobago was on September 2nd. Smith's mother, Jacqueline Wayne, contacted the Moriah Police Station at 7:15 p.m. on Tuesday, September 10th, and reported her daughter missing. Police reports said relatives became suspicious after Smith had not been answering her phone. Her mother told officers she'd heard Smith was acting strangely, hearing things, and was seen walking naked. Smith and her two children were said to be staying in Palatuvia after being evicted from their home earlier in the week. Police initially searched her last known address but could not find her. It wasn't until 5 p.m. yesterday officers noticed a foul stench coming from a nearby area, which led them to an empty 40-foot tank where they found the three bodies. Authorities, including WASA, the Tobago Emergency Management Agency, TEMA, the fire services, were called to assist with recovering the bodies after the gruesome discovery. Investigations are ongoing, and the post-mortem expected to be conducted at the Scarborough General Hospital mortuary. Relatives of murdered father and son and wife Malik Lee yesterday chastised social media for irresponsible reporting on the Pitty Valley triple murder after identity of the surviving son was widely broadcast on some sites following the killing on Monday night. Marlon, 41, Malik, 17, and Marlon's common wife, Selena Rodriguez, 34, were gunned down and killed in cold blood at their home in Cedar Trace, Upper Pioneer Drive, Pitty Valley, around 9:36 p.m. on Monday. It was initially alleged that Marlon's 16-year-old son was the intended target, but he was not at home because he had an extracurricular activity after school and did not return home until late that night. Lee's relatives denied that the frightened teenager had gone into hiding, and that's the person the gunmen were targeting. An unnamed relative said they were told Monday's killings were an interrogation gone wrong. She said Malik's friends were beaten on Saturday, following which the suspects went to Marlon's house searching for Malik, who had not been home at the time. It was claimed that following the visit, Marlon decided to send Malik away from home during the day, but relatives could not corroborate this. Criticizing law enforcement officials for what they described as an uncaring attitude that was meted out to the family hours after the killing. Relatives said the family had lost other relatives to gun violence before. The Occupational Health and Safety Agency, OSHA, has been accused of a double-barrel attack on Parafuel Trading Company after two of its senior employees in this prosecution arising out of the 2022 diving tragedy. Pariah's lead attorney Gilbert Peterson, senior counsel, made the accusation after his client's Pariah's general manager, Mustaq Mohammed, terminal operations manager Colin Piper, and the company itself pleaded not guilty to 9 of 15 charges against them. Magistrate Alicia Chankar read the 15 charges to Pariah's Mohammed and Piper and Land and Marine Construction Services Limited, LMSC Director Kazim Ali Sr. on September 11th, yesterday. On February 25th, 2022, Ali Jr. and 4 others, LMSCS drivers Rishi Nagasa, Faisal Kurban, Yusuf Henry, and Christopher Boudram were repairing a 30-inch pipeline at Pariah's point-of-care facility when they were sucked into it. Only Christopher Boudram survived the ordeal. Mohammed also faces 4 charges, which alleged as manager of Pariah between June 2nd and 21st and February 28th. He also pleaded not guilty. He pleaded not guilty to the 4 charges against Pariah on behalf of the company as its general manager. Attorneys for Auditor General Jaiwanti Ramdas are expected to make an application for recent statements made by Finance Minister Colin Imber in Parliament. Imber laid the special report of the Auditor General of the public accounts of the financial year 2023 earlier this week. Ramdass's lead attorney, Eleanor Logan, senior counsel, signaled the intention to make the application at a hearing before Justice Westman James on September 11th yesterday. James is presiding over Ramdass's lawsuit after the cabinet appointed a team led by retired Justice David Harris to probe an ongoing impasse between the Auditor General and the Ministry of Finance. James will begin evidentiary objections on January 13th. He was told on November 8th the Privy Council will hear the minister's appeal of a preliminary aspect of Ramdass's challenge over the appointment of the Harris team. And finally, Louisiana is bracing for Hurricane Francine as the storm grows in power over the Gulf of Mexico before its expected landfall. The National Hurricane Center explains Francine strengthened from a tropical storm to a Category 1 hurricane on Tuesday and is expected to reach Category 2 before it hits Louisiana. Louisiana and neighboring Mississippi have declared states of emergency in preparation for the storm making landfall. And that is news to 6 a.m. right here on News Power Digital. We'll have major news coming your way at 7 a.m. Good morning.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
Neighbors, it is the 12th day of September. Thank you so much for joining us on the Power Breakfast Show on Power 102 Digital across the globe. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for all your messages and calls and so on. Do appreciate you. 26 degrees at Piarco International Airport, 27 at Crown Point in Tobago. I don't have a weather for you. The last time the weather was updated, it was quite 10 o'clock yesterday morning. Traffic-wise, got some volume, but you got traffic from Coover to Sugarcorners. Apart from that, usual spots, you've got the volume. Good morning to you, Dr. Paul Richards.
Good morning, Steve. Good morning, everyone.
Yeah, morning. How art thou?
I am fine, thank you. And yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. A little out of it still, but yeah, not too bad. Yeah, not too bad.
Oh, let's try.
Of course, Wendell will join us this morning, and of course, Richard, our guest, coming up after the 7 o'clock major news with AV will be Chris Hughes. Chris Hughes, he'll join us this morning. All right. Just thought I'd let you
hear what he has to say.
It'll be interesting.
You know, we have different interviews to everybody else.
Yeah, no kidding. I spoke with him for a while. Yeah, he's just confused as all of us.
Oh. Yes, he's defending himself against very serious charges. So.
Very much so.
You want to do your birthdays before I get into the bad news?
Well, I'll say hellos to all those that, let me clear my throat, that send us hellos. Soon as the little beady eyes open and think of us, we appreciate that. Like Wendy and James at 4:22 this morning. You don't sleep? God, Celia, 10 minutes afterwards. Ray out in West Palm Beach, Florida. Good morning to Ray. Beefy Smith in Goodwood, Tobago. What is going on in Tobago? What is it, 27, 22? I lost track. No, it's Tobago. Oliver Manwaran, Wayne Benetton covered in Georgia. Boy Daisy, Maria Celia, Anthony Tinto out in Ontario, Canada. D-Pierre, David Wares, and of course, Cheryl. Morning to you. Yeah, we've gotten on a first name basis now. Leroy Jeffries, good morning. Miss Ingrid in Tucson, Arizona. Gloria Gray, DJ Ray in Delaware. Marcia Rock in Orlando. Nikisha Pierre in Brazil Village. John Cato, Subash Mangal, Carol Guevara. Morning, dearie. Brent Hackshaw, Biznat Prasad, CJ New York, Lister Lodge, Trinidad Margot, Mogain, Slick Money Grip, Anyhow Miguel, Showinka. So many messages. Let's say Vincent in Birmingham, UK, and Captain Ron, who's in Miami, Val, David Nelson, Danraj, Sankofa, good morning to you all. Thank you so much for hitting us up this morning. We do appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right. Righty-o. Right. Okay. Got it. Ambrose Blah, you snuck in. Morning.
Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning, in particular, Tobago.
Yeah, boy.
And I don't know, there's some sort of evil entity roaming this country. It has to be.
There's no words. Two
Has
children.
to be
A
some
mother.
sort of.
What?
Has to be some sort of evil entity roaming this country. I mean, I got the information from someone yesterday, and I just said, this is fake news. This can't be real. This doesn't sound like it can be real. This does sound like a normal country. Only to find out it is true.
Yeah.
A 33-year-old mother and her 3-year-old son and 18-month-old daughter.
1 second, Paul. I'm being told to hit the button for YouTube.
What?
I'm being told here. Tell Paul hit the switch on YouTube.
This has already been hit.
Okay, there you go.
Have been found dead inside a water tank, a decommissioned water tank. In Moriah. I mean, wow.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you there.
Neither do I. I just don't know what to say. Police have not yet deemed it foul play because there are reports that the mother was acting strangely recently.
Mm-hmm.
And she was seen walking naked, and she was acting strangely and saying that she was hearing things. So I'm only hoping that she did not dive into the water tank or go into the water tank and take the babies with her. We'll have to wait until the autopsies are conducted at the Scarborough mortuary.
That is not the case. Well, boy.
Oh, Father.
I don't know where to start with that story. It's such a sad, especially when it involves kids. Yeah. Kids are involved. It's a different scenario.
I'll wait and see what the autopsy provides. But it's a horrible, horrible situation.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we also had 3 people dying, losing their lives in Pity Valley on Monday evening.
Mm-hmm.
And now the relatives of the 3 who died are very upset with social media. And sometimes I wonder if people don't have any sensitivity at all, if they just care about clicks and likes.
I say the same thing sometimes.
You will hear that a family is executed, including a father, son, and a mother. Mm-hmm. You will hear that the gunman may have been looking for another son because of some altercation. And you will post the boy's picture.
Mm-hmm.
You'll post the boy's picture. Really? You want likes so much? You need to be relevant so much that you don't think posting his picture, not that the killers may not know what he looks like before you, but you don't want to help them. I hope he's in a safe place.
Yeah.
And I hope the police find the perpetrators of that horrible act.
Mm-hmm.
And lock them away before they can do any more damage. I just don't know. Good morning, Krista. Let's send condolences to the family of one of our own.
Yeah. My horse, my riding partner.
I'll let
Go,
you do
baby,
it
go.
because you knew him longer than I did.
He was my partner, you know. He was.
Gary
We would
is
argue.
a long-time member of staff at Radio Vision Limited.
We would argue, and then 5 minutes later, he will say, "Let's go
He
get
went
some tea." And I say, "Okay."
to the great beyond yesterday.
Yeah,
So
that's
condolences
Gary
to
Camejo,
his
avid
family,
horse racing fan.
friends, and colleagues.
Yeah, it hit me like it took a while to hit me like a ton of bricks. Because first, you natural emotion, you don't believe it.
Well, he'd been ill for a while. He really
Yeah, he's
never
been ill for
played
a while.
right for a number of years because he had some issues, illness issues, and he put up a fight for a long while. But
He
he went
did.
beyond yesterday. So
Yeah.
Gary, bon voyage, and
Go, baby, go.
rest in peace.
I used to call him
Gary
Gary, go,
was a
baby,
fun
go.
character. He was a
Oh, yeah.
valued member of our sales and marketing department,
Yeah,
and one very, very fun, jovial guy. So
yeah.
rest in peace, Gary. And I know that the staff were extremely shaken up yesterday. I went to a meeting when I came back.
Okay.
Dayton said, "Come, I need to tell you something." And then everybody was just in an extremely somber mood. And yeah, condolences to his family and friends and colleagues. I know Krista
Yeah.
was in a mess yesterday, and Amancia and Mahalia and everybody
He's
else.
very much liked.
He's very much loved.
Yeah, very much. I mean, Ian Allen posted it up yesterday, and I'm actually going through the hundreds of messages. I'm going through it now from. Yeah, it's hundreds of messages of condolences to his family. Morning to you, PP. I know that one hit you like a rock too.
Was the link sent to Wendell? Wendell wanted to log in this morning. Let me send it to him. Just
We'll send it, yeah.
Because he wanted to log on this morning.
Yeah, he did say so.
He's
So my
traveling.
good friend Gary, go baby go Camejo. That's what I used to call him. And we used to make jokes in the office and so on. So I had a little piece of plank, and anybody behave bad there, they get a plank, and I would write their name on it. Well, Gary's name was all over it. I'll go and get it and bring it out and show you all. But we used to argue. 2 minutes after we hugging up, we used to go here, there. He really was my bro.
Gary should have been on a team. He could negotiate, boy.
Yeah, he could negotiate. He was my real partner, as he would call it.
You see, well, I think because of the amount of time I spent on this deal, I could get more commission. Gary doesn't really work like that.
No.
Well, I think I'm special. I say you are special, but it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
It was a
I spoke to Paula yesterday, and rough.
So, moving on, I see 15 charges in the case of the Paria fuel trading tragedy. Paria's general manager Mustaq Mohammed and terminal operations manager Colin Pepper, both of whom featured very prominently in the Broadcast Commission of Inquiry, and the company itself pleaded not guilty to 9 of 15 charges against them. Also, LMCS director Kazim Ali Sr., whose son died in the tragedy, also faced some charges. And I think he faced 4 charges. The only survivor from that is Christopher Boudram, who will forever be haunted by that situation. And of course, Mr. Ali pleaded not guilty to the charges laid by Chief Inspector Frank Brisbane. So, I saw a lot of screen grabs of 2 of the perpetrators of the robbery showed yesterday in Arang, where the two Chinese persons of Asian descent were going into their home, and the three seemingly young men accosted them and assaulted them and went into the house, and God knows what only they did to them on Monday evening just after 9 p.m. And there were several screenshots. Our world is buffering me. Well, I got the other news a little late, so I had some issues. Okay, ma'am, I'm sending it for you now. Yeah. There were several screenshots circulating. I hope I think this is what I wrote. I hope I'm sending the right one. Yeah. Of two of the three perpetrators. So by now, I'm presuming that police have some leads as to their whereabouts.
I would think so. Or
I'm sure that
yes,
somebody in this country or some people in this country recognized the two people, the two young men, whose faces were not obscured from the screenshots of the CCTV footage that went viral after the persons were robbed. And that's the advantage of having footage, police. Body cam footage and CCTV footage. So I am hoping that citizens do the right thing and call the police. Police have said these calls are confidential.
You could call Crime Stoppers and get a little money.
Stoppers, and you can help capture these people. When they send, they caught one already. That's good news.
Really? Okay. Wonderful. Yeah. Wendell, we sent you the link to log on.
And we can hopefully catch the other two of these little miscreants.
You're being kind with your words.
Okay, so good work, citizens and police, in capturing one. But he must get enough Jerusalem and the family jewels.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Just saying. Give him a cup of coffee and then everything else. You understand? Because at that age, you can't find nothing else to do with your life. That is your way of living. Yeah, I'm glad the screenshots were that clear, so you could pick up their faces, and I'm sure they are family, friends, and neighbors and associates who could call the police and identify them and say where they are. Right? So I don't know. Very, very disturbing developments. I was going to talk about something. Oh, yes. Speaking of police, for those of you who did not see the interview with David West yesterday, today's Wednesday or Thursday? It's Thursday.
Thursday.
I was so busy yesterday, I couldn't edit it to put it up yet, but I'll edit it this morning to put it up. Who knows, I may even edit it while we're on the yeah, but I don't want to stress on the computer. Yeah. David West, the director of the Police Complaints Authority, told us in the interview yesterday that the Police Complaints Authority, when it comes to police-involved shootings, have never, not once, never received body cam footage from the TT Police Service. Never.
See, yeah, never. Not one.
He also said, in relation to a recent incident, I can't remember which one we were talking about, that the officers did wear body cams, but one was not turned on, and one fell in the mud. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. They don't want to wear no body cam in those situations.
Mm-mm.
You see traffic situations, you get some body cams.
Mm-hmm.
You see garden outside soca parties,
Mm-hmm.
you get some body cams.
Mm-hmm.
But you see them high stakes situation when it is most needed, you ain't likely to get body cams right now. Unless the police leadership make a point of disciplining officers who don't wear body cams and activate the body cams properly when they are in these high stakes situations. It is a leadership and management issue.
That's all.
And I really feel the management and leadership really wanted too much either. They could come from here and that if they want. I really do business. Because that's the
And you know what, Paul?
that's
I
what
agree
the
with
track
you.
record is showing.
Yeah. I agree with you on that. I don't think the hierarchy of the TDPS really want those body cams.
In those situations.
In
Because
those
if they
situations.
wanted it, it would
Did
have
they
been
do it already? I agree with you 100% with that. When there's a will, there's a way. There's no will. So it's just the population. Everybody else.
It can't matter of will, Steve. It's a matter of it's in the what do you call it? The regulations. They have to do it. So if they don't feel to wear the gray shirt tomorrow, they feel to wear a pink shirt, they could wear it then. Okay, if they don't feel to wear boots, they feel to wear sneakers tomorrow, they could do that. They enforce what they want to enforce. They enforce what they want to enforce.
Yeah.
I mean, we had to be real throatish to believe that the camera fall in the mud and the other one just wasn't turned on properly.
Yeah, we that stupid.
And Winston, you're right. What we wasting just to order more for?
Yeah.
They're not even using the ones that they have now in the circumstances where they're most needed. And to be fair, because the police complaints authority and get them in, they don't have body cam footage.
True. They spend millions on putting cameras on top of some police vehicles. I have to say millions, and that's how we count it. Non-working.
I wouldn't say non-working. They're not working none.
Okay, well, see.
Non-working suggests they are malfunctioning. You have to press on for it to work, you know.
I'll find out.
I was very happy to hear when we asked Mr. West yesterday about the situation from years ago where I think it's 4 or 5 young men died in the car after the police gave chase.
And South Key Republic Bank there.
That he has footage from that. And a coroner's inquest has been ordered into that, which means more information is needed. But look how long that happened, how good that happened.
Yeah, you're right. I think yesterday it says like 3 years. It's pre-pandemic, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yep. This next breathe, Paul.
Ooh, sa.
Let's put back a comment there. Yes.
Ooh, sa.
Let's open the phone and see if I get in trouble.
You know, I do know 6-2 power. Option 5.
You said that the technicians were coming yesterday.
Yeah, I didn't see them, you know. Every time I left, I didn't see them. But let's be safe than sorry. 6-2 power, option 5. The toll-free number remains the same, 866-525-1099. All right? Yeah, all right. Of course, I was reading yesterday and the amount of news reports came out from that presidential debate in the U.S. It's quite hilarious. We have some calls coming through, so let's grab them. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you. Good morning, Dr. Paul.
Hey, Ellie, what's going on? 2 days in a row.
Why, I got early to listen to this morning. 3 o'clock, I wake up on the street.
Yeah, it's what, 3:30 in LA?
Yeah, no, it's 3:30.
And you're on your road already?
Yeah, I wake up to listen to the program and I Good morning, Dr. Paul. How are you doing, sir?
Good morning.
So, Dr. Paul, good morning, Mr. Stephen. If you're logged on, good morning, sir. Dr. Paul, I hear a little frustration and anguish in your voice when I hear you talk. You can hear it in your voice. Like something evil going through the country, and I quite agree with you there. I don't know what it is. But I mean, when you talk about that story there, I mean, I like earlier this week, we actually three families get killed. No, this situation, you know, I don't know what it is. I hope anyway. I don't want to say actually in your program or something. I listened to the interview with this guy, the Christmas guy. I was with JW.
Yeah, he's on after 7 o'clock here, Ellie. We're gonna chat with him after 7 o'clock news.
Yeah, Steve, what really going on? The man come in the country to go to court. They confiscate the man's passport. What is really going on? When people say Trinidad is not a real place, really not a real place. They're going to do with this case until some big thing going to happen and they will see something international going to happen with this case, with this man. They confiscate the man's passport. They put the man in the detention center. The man has to can't get to the man to talk to the man. Are we a country of laws and rights, and are we a country of that, or what is going on? You know what I mean? And that has to be made. That call has to be made by either somebody high up in the police service, by somebody high up in the government. You understand? I don't make political statements. But listen to this interview this man here, and it's so crazy, bro. This is a crazy situation going on here with this guy. The guy came in the country to go to court to respond to a case in the court. They confiscate the man's passport. They put him on. They call him undesirable. Yeah, I never know if he had a law. You can say you're undesirable. I was like, wow. You know what I mean?
But that one shocked me too. I never knew there was a law that pointed
know that either.
That the Ministry of National Security could deem someone an undesirable inhabitant. I wonder if they could deem nationals that too.
It's not an immigration thing, just together, like,
yeah,
non-enriched. Well, together with
like
homosexuals and stuff that them entering.
They come and they confiscate the man come and they say, the man say, why don't you do the man careful? He say, no, we can't, that's your right. That is human right. I don't understand. Good morning to you, Mr. Richard Ragoobarsingh. You're the legal mind here. I don't understand this whole situation here, but it's making the country look real stupid, but the kind of shit they do over here. All right, guys, I'll lock on and listen.
Yeah. All right. There's some archaic immigration laws that if you want to exercise a certain level of vindictiveness, you can utilize. And remember the point, and if Wendell was here, remember the point at which Elton John was to come in?
That came to my mind, and there was a big controversy as to whether or not he would have been allowed in.
Because the immigration law says homosexuals cannot enter. Well, that you could prohibited class. I guess I can't remember how they exactly phrase it, but you had stuff like that, and the Minister of National Security had to give him a special exemption to come in for that show that Elton John would have done, and because of the archaic laws that still exist in the immigration legislation. Yeah,
which ironically, members of the show, which ironically members of the government attended.
Yeah. Good morning, caller.
Yes, morning.
Good morning.
No, something I observed. Is it big?
All right. So the phone lines have not worked. So you have to call. Please call 62 Power, which is 627-6937, option number 5, and you'll be there. All right. Because you're breaking up a bit.
Are you?
All right, that's it.
You're not
62 Power, option 5. Yeah. Good morning.
Hey, morning. Wendell, Steve Khan, Richard, Ragoobarsingh.
Morning, Mr. Patrick.
Morning, Mr. Patrick.
The issue with the lady, the water tank with the 2 children. For the past years, I've been following a situation where mothers drown the children, the mothers do this to the children and things. It is a thing called mental illness, boy. They are really serious.
Mm-hmm.
They really know this. A lot of people don't understand. I hear a lady say something sometime about this year. On that frustration, I had a ball behind the what two people talking. You understand? People going through some kind of stress and frustration. They say the woman get evicted from her apartment or something like that. And then they say naked and all kind of things. I think yesterday was Suicide Day, International Suicide Day, right? And it's our psychologist fella. He always used to say, the loudest scream is the one you don't hear. People don't show you a face, but you don't know what's going on inside them. So all you stay close to all your relatives and family, and when you're going through stress, monitor them now, talk to them now.
That's very good advice, Mr. Patrick.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Have a pleasant day.
Thank you, Mr. Patrick.
Good morning, Wendell.
Yeah, it's a good time for me to say good morning. Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Steve. Good morning, Richard. And good morning, listeners and viewers. An excellent excellent contribution by Mr. Patrick. I'm sorry, I lost a word. I'm driving and I kind of focus on so many different things. You know, so excellent contribution, Mr. Patrick. You're very right. Plenty of people suffering from depression and showing it out in so many different ways now. You know, good contribution. Yeah.
All right, let's grab another call. For those that are geeky like me, the first ever private astronauts attempting their spacewalk any minute now. I'm watching it on BBC, so I'm in awe. Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Morning, Diego Martin.
Morning. I don't know if Paul, well, then when they have the, what they call it, the GLC, Dr. Paul?
Yes, ma'am.
Select committee, right. I wish they can clear the air, or if you all could request that, I don't know who will have to do it, if it's the Minister of National Security, what, that they could let the public know clearly. You see that camouflage law? Let them bring it if they have to go to Parliament and pass new legislation, because I'm hearing there's the customs law and then there's the defense law. So these police officers, like, they're sure which law to follow. And that nonsense you saw went on there in Port of Spain with that police officer, that is why that country, I don't know why, we just could never get it right. We have laws, you know, but like they don't know how to enforce it. Because you see, that could have turned deadly, because a confrontation thank God, I want to commend the young guy, because I didn't know that he is the one the police approach. He kind of calmed down the situation. And you know, we women, you know how they say we mouth is we weapon. And she started, you know, which was...
You want to repeat that? You want to repeat that, Mr. Martin, about we women? Let me hear you say that again.
Yes. Our mouth is our power, Wendell.
I never knew that. I'm shocked.
Because that is what your men like to say it, oh God, your woman this. So she, I would say, went on with she said what she had to say, and I want to believe the police got angry, right? The taping was another thing, and, you know, get it clear. Let us get it clear. Could you wear, because I have a camouflage flat shoe my son sent for me 5 years ago. I just going down with it when rain fall. I could end up getting arrested and have to call Richard. I might have to walk bare feet to my car where it back. Because what is it? You can't wear, all right, I could understand you have on the pants.
Yeah, make it quicker, Mr. Martin. Lots of calls coming.
Come on, man. How the hell all you could tell me you arresting somebody for a rag? Give me a break. So please, Dr. Paul, see if you all could get these people who are responsible for this camo law, see if they could get it corrected.
The Minister of National Security took great pains months ago to clarify what the law is. It will always have a police officer or two who want to do what they want.
Yeah. Good morning to Patricia McLean out in Cancun, Mexico. Lucky you. Good morning, caller.
Yes, good morning.
Morning.
Good
Better.
morning.
Right. There's something that I keep looking at. And I wonder why it is being made, and I say made because of how the event does unfold. This thing about the borders, why is it always the borders open? Like everything on the border is shut down one time, and the port authority, it was also made known that there was a unit for detecting whatever, was also done because of some heist happening. Why does be these things? Why these things just have to come out to the public in that kind of way? And how it is always at the borders open? What is the real issue with it? And informing the public in a way that, I mean, when you talk, you're talking to the innocent public, and everybody hearing that. What is the reason for, or what is the cause for having these things like borders down all the time, everything shutting down one time? The port, I don't understand what it is. Could anybody have an idea or could say something with that? Thank you.
But you're answering yourself. You're answering yourself. What you think is the reason? If you really think about it. But the Great America can't even stop the issues with the border with Mexico. And so it's no strange thing about border issues, but a lot of people benefit from these things. That's all.
You're making what he's talking about. Yes, no country can absolutely secure the border, but to have 8 out of 10 craft down at the same time is what the caller was talking about.
Right. So
absolutely secure your borders. That's not the point he was making.
All right. So I made 2 points in that one comment that I made. That sometimes it's deliberate because people are benefiting from these things,
That I agree with.
There are people benefiting,
and also dereliction of duty. People not doing their jobs.
Yeah, they don't care.
Good morning, caller.
Morning, gentlemen.
Hey, Captain Ron out in Miami. Good morning.
Yes, sir. Listen, I think pertaining to the camouflage laws in Trinidad, I blame the government and the lawmakers. It's time to get up and revisit all these grandfathered laws, because there are laws in Trinidad. I'm ignorant of it. We didn't even know, like, example, like for the one with the driver who got arrested for not assisting the police officer. I didn't even know for that law.
Don't tie a car with an open field after 6 p.m. That's against the law in this country.
Well, all of these laws, they need to have a program to educate the people. Long ago, when I was growing up in the 70s, I remember there was a program on Radio Trinidad, used to come up every certain time or 3 times a week or somewhere, and they would educate people. If you want to go to this profession, or you wanted to follow anything, they educate you what you have to do and what the requirements and what you have to study and what you have to pass. So they need to do better. They need to come out and have programs. Use this radio station and educate people. A lot of people listen to this radio station, and others, and educate the people of the laws. People are just going and nobody knows. I have come into Trinidad with camouflage things, caps and stuff like that, and I didn't even know these were against the law. I heard a guy on another station yesterday.
But Captain Ron, you walk into a special line, don't forget.
Yeah, but still, if I walk in the road when I come out, when I'm coming through the line, I'm coming through uniform, so I'm not showing a handkerchief or anything like that. Right? And Trinidad is one place you still get searched, because in them customs officers, they love to search everybody's business, So what I think is that the government needs to educate the people. Because I'm sure there's other laws that until something happens, then I didn't know that was a law, or it was against the law. So
why is you on the topic? You know what is a law in Trinidad and Tobago? And I'm sure a lot of people don't know it. Lighting up hours. There's a law about the time you have to put on your car light and take it off. You know that?
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wait. So
and it's printed in the newspaper too, Captain Ron.
So what you're saying that the cars with daylight operation is forbidden in Trinidad now?
And that's the point I'm trying to make. It is so stupid that there are cars now that will put their lights will automatically come on when it gets a little gloomy.
In all of California, there's a law if it's raining, or as long as your wipers are moving, your lights have to be on. Once it's raining, your lights have to be on. That's the law. I mean, even an airplane, if you're on a runway and your lights are not on, you could get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
You can look at the airport to see when the airplane's getting, from the time you get on the runway, or even have to cross the runway, your lights, everything must be on. So and that was developed by the FAA, and now everywhere in the United States, all cars must have daylight operations. So I don't understand how they could, this is what I'm saying. They need to go and revisit all these grandfather laws and change them and educate people. Have a program and give you all every day. Give all the radios to educate people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, anyway, guys, have a great day.
All right.
Pleasure listening to you all.
Thank you, Captain Ron. All the best. Safe flying.
Richard, do
Don't
you
let
have
plane hit your plane. Yeah, Rich, you have headlines? Let's go through it. And I'll give you the result. I'm still watching.
Wasn't necessary, you know.
What?
Well, they're not following all that hate that coming out in some parts of America and so on, with people who have up signs with supporting Harris, Kamala, and Walz, and who have up rainbow flags. They're not seeing the kind of hate that coming out in America. America's sick, you know.
Getting worse.
Not only America.
Yeah. Well, I know not only America, but I'm speaking specifically to America now, because they're about to enter what probably would be the most important elections of all. You understand?
Yeah. All right. Headline.
I'll start with the Newsday this morning. The Trinidad and Tobago Newsday, and of course today is Thursday, September 12th, 2024, just in case you didn't know. And the main headline on the Newsday this morning: Mom, 2 children found dead in water tank. Tobago NGO, she was crying out for help. That's the main headline on the front page of the Newsday. The main picture is that of the face-off between, well, it's a combination of photos which shows Republican presidential nominee, former President Donald Trump left, and Democratic presidential nominee, Vice President Kamala Harris, during an ABC News presidential debate at the National Constitution Center on September 10th. 15 charges for Paria and LCMS in diving tragedy. Youth, the Future of Engineering, which is the business magazine inside. And on the back page, Tigers hit CIC for 6. St. Anthony's and Prez Sandos start SSFL season with big wins. And Pollard, a booing crowd spurs me on. So that's it for the front and the back of the Newsday. The Daily Express front page: property tax pressure. Well, is this anything that we did not expect? Citizens demand answers on frustrating payment system. Economists suggest deadline extension and online facility. Didn't we raise all of these issues with Brian Manning?
Yeah.
And we raised these issues.
Yeah, and he said everything is in place, everything is okay.
He said hundreds of thousands of people across the country are going to converge on what? 8 offices? That is a recipe for disaster and stupidity. And you don't have an online system? Come on. Do better.
And our culture is to wait last minute, and they should have expected that we will have this problem now.
But Wendell,
people are going to be seeing it in September, Wendell.
People are experiencing all kinds of challenges, even without the issues with the deadline. People are getting all kinds of mixed messages and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Economists suggest deadline extension and online facility. I mean, come on. Make things easier for citizens. Stop giving citizens undue stupid pressure.
That's a good poll today.
I done typing it already.
Mom, kids found dead in water tank. Just like those stupid laws. Stop
Now,
making
we are doing headlines quickly, gentlemen.
Make things easier for citizens, not more difficult. Imber's criticism of Auditor General raised with judge. And on the back page of the Daily Express, Parry execs plead not guilty. Criminal charges read in OSH violation case. And the main Christmas list, I'll be jailed if I leave TNT. And the main sports, not hungry enough. Skipper David, Coach King lament mischance against French Guyana. On to the Guardian, front page, Tobago tragedy. Mom, son, 3 toddler daughter found dead in water tank. The decommissioned water tank at Parrot Hall, Palatuvier, where the bodies of Sarah Smith and her children were found. Very sad and tragic story. Surviving child in triple murder fears for his life. Parry Fuel and LMCS officials plead not guilty to 15 OSH charges. Deco fined $37,000 by SEC for admin breach. And on the back page of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian, Meccano notches 4th beaver trick. And that's it for the 3 dailies this morning.
All right, let's get the results of our morning poll that we asked you yesterday. I'm just watching this civilian spacewalk, which they now exiting the spacecraft. Do you think the impasse with the 5 distant UNC MPs will cost the UNC the next general elections? That's our poll. 67%, 67 says yes. All right, let's get into this morning's poll.
It's a little long, Wendell? I know you don't like it too long.
All right. So
well, I know you stretched out mine as usual. That's all right.
All right. So the poll is up on your screen. Let me tell you what it is. Should the deadline be extended and an online payment option be instituted for property tax? Wow, look at that. Right? That's our poll. All right. That's our poll. Should the deadline be extended and an online payment option be instituted for property tax? Give us a call. Toll free for North Americans, 866-525-1099. Locally, you have to call 62-POWER, which is 627-6937, option number 5. On WhatsApp at 318-1021. Good morning, caller.
Good morning to the breakfast crew.
Morning.
And good morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
Morning, Tinto.
Good morning. We must remember that people who didn't have mental issues, developmental issues during COVID.
It's the poll time.
Yeah, we're doing the poll. We're doing the poll, Tinto.
Oh, sorry. What's the poll? Sorry.
Should the deadline be extended and an online payment option be instituted for property tax?
Should that be
extended?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. We'll chat later.
Bye-bye.
All righty. All right. Got some votes coming in. Whoa, look at votes. Holy Maloney's. All right. Here we go. Hanif Daniel says yes. Alistair Hart says yes.
Isn't it astounding that in today's context that we have to ask for an online payment option? Not
ridiculous, huh?
Ridiculous.
Well, there is an article with Faris Al-Rawi said you'll get it in the next financial year.
Wow, whoopee! Wow.
That's local government reform, boy.
Isn't that crazy?
Oi, you don't knock local government reform. Come on, don't do that.
You get next year.
You get next year.
Next year for that. All right. Michael Robinson says yes. CJ New York says yes. Adonna Clark, yes. John Cato, yes. Slick Money Grip, yes. Gregory Bauer, yes. David Wes, yes. Schumer Paul, yes. Pearl Cordis, yes. Anthony Miguel, yes. Richard P. Knights, no. Arno, no. Von Drayton, yes. M. Lovelock, okay. yes. Carol Guevara, absolutely. Miss Ingrid, Tucson, Arizona, yes to the poll. Tony Stark, yes. Patricia McLean, yes. Mario Joseph, yes. Let's go WhatsApp, see what's going on there. Jaron John Joseph says yes. Garvin from New York City says yes. Anthony from Toronto says yes. Val says yes. Eve out in Sugarguana says yes. Captain Ron says yes. Got some others coming here. Lorna, morning Lorna says yes. Morning Indian Kali. Right, let's go back here. Julia S. Batiste says yes. Antonia Butt says yes. Oh gosh, I'm reading there. CPT saying. He says no. He says no. All right, a late charge should be applied. Okay. Yeah. Should the deadline be extended and an online payment options be instituted for property tax? Okay, there was long lines yesterday out in the Arima area.
There can't be any long line in the Arima area because we have no district revenue office in Arima.
Yeah,
Really?
it's Tunapuna. It's Tunapuna.
Oh,
I have to go to Tunapuna.
They have zero in
long
Arima.
lines.
Yep.
Long lines.
And
Cheryl
that
Henry.
Tunapuna space cannot accommodate everybody.
Wow. Cheryl Henry says yes. Wow. Roger T says yes. Call us 62 power option 5 or toll free for North Americans 866-525-1099. Wayne Joseph, Ontario, Canada says yes. Emmanuel out in Fort Lauderdale says yes. Right. Yeah, Wayne Joseph. WhatsApp 318-1021 318-1021. You'll get us directly into the studio so you can send your messages. Of course, on WhatsApp, we do not take any calls whatsoever. So you have to WhatsApp a message, okay? Let's see. Kenny out in Harlem. I say yes to the poll. Thank you, Kenny. Should the deadline be extended and an online payment option be instituted for property tax? That is our poll. It's going to stay up on our mobile app and our website till tomorrow morning, where we give you the final results. All right.
Look now, they have people selling any manner of things now on the internet, right? On social media and on the internet that have an online payment option. You know? I mean, they're selling from a toothpick to a car tire. You could pay online now.
Yeah. But something like property tax, wait till next year. And you have a
That
ministry.
we've planning for years now for.
You knew it was coming.
You knew it was coming. Exactly.
For somebody to tell us that we will get it next year. Oh my God, great job. Wonderful.
That's annoying.
With a Ministry of Digital Transformation, a whole ministry.
A whole ministry.
We should try to get Minister Bacchus, Hasselbach. We haven't spoken to him for a while.
What are you going to say?
For what?
What is he going to say?
He's probably going to say the same thing, that he promised that it will be done in so-and-so. You know,
for what?
At least let's get him on record, because we haven't spoken to him a long time.
For what?
He hasn't said anything for a long time. I wish I was a minister like that. You know? Like
Susie, all right, we got to run the news. So Susie B says yes. Helen Prescott says
it's so backward.
Oh Lord. Right. Votes. Nothing there.
Across the country.
Cascade St. Anne's says yes. All right, gentlemen, we got to run into our major news. So let's do that right now. Evie St. Hilbab is in.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
A mother and her 2 infant children are found dead inside a tank. Relatives of murdered father and son Marlon and Malik Lee criticized social media for irresponsible reporting after the killings. The Auditor General is back in court over legal fees dispute, and Louisiana braces for Hurricane Francine as the storm grows in power over the Gulf of Mexico. Details in a moment. This is news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. I'm Avril Cynthia Bab. Good morning. A mother and her 2, or rather, horror scene in Tobago as a mother is mourning after her daughter and 2 grandchildren were found dead inside a decommissioned water and sewage authority tank in Palituve, Tobago last night. Police officers from the Mariah station discovered the bodies of Sarah Smith, 33, of Palituve, along with her 3-year-old son, Genuine, and 18-month-old daughter Phoenix in the water tank, which is near their home. The grim discovery was made during a search operation in the area, which also involved members of the Hunter Search and Rescue Team. The mother and 2 children were last seen in Trinidad on August 30th. However, the last time they were physically seen in Tobago was on September 2nd. Smith's mother, Jacqueline Wayne, contacted the Mariah police station at 7:15 p.m. on Tuesday and reported her daughter missing. Police reports said that her relatives became suspicious after Smith had not been answering her phone. Her mother told officers she had also heard that Smith was acting strangely. She said the woman complained of hearing things and had been seen walking naked. Smith and her 2 children were said to be staying in Palituve after being evicted from their home a week earlier. Police initially searched her last known address but could not find her. It wasn't until 5 p.m. yesterday that officers noticed a foul stench coming from a nearby area. This led them to an empty 40-foot tank where they found the bodies. Authorities, including from WASA, the Tobago Emergency Management Agency, and the fire service, were called to assist with recovering the bodies after the discovery. Investigations are ongoing and a post-mortem examination is expected to be conducted at the Scarborough General Hospital mortuary. Investigations are continuing. Relatives of murdered father and son Marlon and Malik Lee are very upset with social media posts following the murders. They have heavily criticized those on social media for irresponsible reporting on the Pity Valley triple murders after the identity of the surviving son was widely broadcast on some sites following the killings on Monday night. 41-year-old Marlon, 17-year-old Malik, and Marlon's common-law wife, 34-year-old Selena Rodriguez, were gunned down at their home at Cedar Trace, Upper Pioneer Drive, Pity Valley, at 9:36 p.m. It was initially alleged that Marlon's 16-year-old son was the intended target, but was not at home because he had an extracurricular activity after school and did not return home that night. Lee's relatives have denied that the frightened teenager has gone into hiding. According to them, it was Malik the gunmen were targeting, and they have refuted this theory. According to reports, an unnamed relative said they were also told Monday's killing was an interrogation gone wrong. She said Malik's friend was beaten on Saturday, following which the suspects went to Marlon's house searching for Malik, who had not been home at the time. It was claimed that following this visit, Marlon decided to send Malik away from home during the day, but relatives could not corroborate this. Criticizing law enforcement for the uncaring attitude that was meted out to the family in the hours after the killings, she said Marlon's son was now fearful for his life. She said the family had lost other relatives before the gun violence, and this latest incident had left the survivor scared of returning to school and the community as his face and identity were now known. Attorneys for Auditor General Jaiwanti Ramdas are expected to make an application for recent statements made by Finance Minister Colm Imbert in Parliament. Imbert laid the special report to the Auditor General on the public accounts for the financial year 2023 earlier this week. Ramdas lead attorney Anand Ramlogan SC signaled the intention to make the application at a hearing before Justice Westman James on September 11th. James is presiding over Ramdas' lawsuit after the cabinet appointed a team led by retired Judge David Harris to probe the ongoing impasse between the Auditor General and the Ministry of Finance. James will begin hearing evidential objections on January 13th. He was also told on November 8th the Privy Council will hear the minister's appeal of a preliminary aspect of Ramdas' challenge over the appointment of the Harris team. Director of the Police Complaints Authority, David West, says the PCA has not received body camera footage for their investigations into all of the police-involved shootings this year. He told the Power Breakfast Show on Wednesday morning their investigations into fatal police shootings had to be conducted without any footage from body cams. However, he revealed for non-fatal police-involved shootings, some officers did wear their body cams in some cases, but the PCA still was not able to get footage from the police.
For the fatal police shootings thus far that we have investigated, we have not received any body cam footage from the police service. However, there were instances where there were non-fatal shootings and the police were wearing body cameras. However, for some reason, we did not obtain the footage because the footage was lost when in translation. So the short answer is we've had no body cam footage from the police service. In one matter, for example, they said the officer didn't turn on the camera. He had it on, but it wasn't turned on. And in another instance, it had fallen in some mud, and we didn't get the footage.
He said while he has not had face-to-face discussions with the police commissioner on the contentious issue, he had communicated via letter requesting she take the matter up with the officers and encourage them to do the right thing. West noted he was informed that new body cameras have been ordered and they will arrive soon. He said he's hoping the police will make liberal use of them, especially when they're carrying out searches and other duties.
I am informed that they have ordered about 3,000 body cameras, and that should be rolled out sometime in September, October, and later on next year. So I am waiting patiently to see what happens with this when this first batch of body cameras is rolled out. I hope that with all the publicity surrounding the issue of body cameras now, the police will do the right thing and they will wear the body cameras on these investigations, and especially when it may or may not involve a police-involved shooting. For example, when they're going on a search warrant to search for arms and ammunition.
You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital to 7 o'clock. Louisiana is bracing for Hurricane Francine as the storm grows in power over the Gulf of Mexico before its expected landfall. The National Hurricane Center explains Francine strengthened from a tropical storm into a Category 1 hurricane on Tuesday and is expected to have reached Category 2 when it hits Louisiana. Louisiana and neighboring Mississippi have declared states of emergency in preparation for landfall. Well, finally, here's weather news for the period today till midnight. Trinidad and Tobago, partly cloudy intervals with showers will likely interrupt fair conditions. There's a medium chance of the isolated heavy shower or thunderstorm, mainly during the afternoon. Mostly fair night. Gusty winds and street or flash flooding can occur in the event of heavy showers or thunderstorms. Expect a temperature high of 34 degrees Celsius at Piarco International Airport and 32 degrees Celsius at Crown Point in Tobago. Currently, it is 27 degrees Celsius at both localities. Recapping your headlines to 7 o'clock, a mother and her 2 infant children are found dead inside a tank. Relatives of murdered father and son Marlon and Malik Lee criticized social media for irresponsible reporting after the killings. The Auditor General is back in court over legal fees dispute, and Louisiana braces for Hurricane Francine as the storm grows in power over the Gulf of Mexico. I'm Avril St-Hilbab. That was news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. Look out for more news in detail at 12 noon and an update at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
All right. Thank you so much, Avril, for our major news. You can join her again. Come at 8 o'clock this morning for a news brief. Traffic-wise, yep. We think you're going to get it? You will get it. You will. It's heavy everywhere. All right. Let's see if I have any more votes in our morning poll. Let's see. All right. So our poll this morning: should the deadline be extended and an online payment option be instituted for property tax? That was our poll. I didn't check WhatsApp. Let me do that. No. Okay. Yeah. Let's get the results.
Well, we had 39 people voting on the poll this morning.
Mm-hmm.
And of the 39 people, 36 of you said yes, the deadline should be extended and an online payment option be instituted. And 3 people said no. So by far the majority of people voting this morning are in agreement that the property tax should be extended. The time to pay property tax should be extended. And by extension, the online payment should also be instituted. So we'll see how the state deals with it, because it's a large inconvenience for a lot of citizens having to line up. And you know that people are going to be paying that property tax probably with their September income anyway, across the country, and you have hundreds of thousands of people converging on 8 offices. Of course, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Do the math.
Well, let's welcome our guest onto the Power Breakfast Show. Good morning to you, Chris Hughes. Good morning.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning and welcome to the Power Breakfast Show. Of course, you can see on your screen we have Paul Richards and Richard Ragoobarsingh as well.
Good morning. Welcome.
Hi, and Wendell Steven.
And that's Wendell. He's in his car.
Departure.
Good morning, Mr. Hughes. How are you this morning?
Yeah, so far so good. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. What is your mental state given the last couple of days? How are you feeling?
Right now, this moment, I'm just excited for tomorrow morning's hearing in the High Court. It's the only thing I'm focused on. The last week has been exhausting. We'll say physically and mentally exhausting. But right now, this morning, I feel energized and excited about tomorrow.
Mr. Hughes, could you give us a current status as to the charges that have been proffered against you?
Yeah.
Because we're hearing some and we're not hearing some. What exactly are the charges proffered against you thus far?
Sedition. Sedition is the only charge, but I'm also facing a deportation order right now as well.
And what's the basis of the deportation order that you've been told about?
No basis at all. They haven't given any reasoning.
So not to your attorneys?
Correct.
So you've been, on one hand, you are in the country to fulfill the mandates of a bail situation, right? So you're here because you have to be here because the court said your condition of bail is to be in the country.
Yes.
And if you did not come into the country, you'd be running afoul of the law.
Yes.
And on the other hand, you're here because of the bail situation and your mandate to be here because of the bail situation, but you're facing a deportation order. Make it make sense.
Doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. My lawyers contacted the DPP office yesterday, and they were not aware of the deportation order either. None of it makes sense to me. I was picked up in the night last week, arrested, guns pointed at me, etc. Almost like a movie. SUVs, blacked out SUVs, everybody in ski masks, arrest me. No reasoning. No. Now I know I'm not at home in Canada. I don't know all the laws here. In Canada, when you're arrested, they tell you why you're arrested, give you an opportunity to speak to a lawyer, etc. None of that happened. I was brought to a detention center, which I spent 72 hours in solitary confinement. My lawyer was not allowed there. They had to get in front of a judge to get whatever the proper wording is, to have the ability to come even see me. But even till today, none of it makes sense to me. Since I've been in the country, due to my appearance, my passport has been taken away from me since day one. I don't have the ability to leave the country. I wish I could leave the country. So again and again, it's like the country wants me to leave, but they won't give me the ability to leave, or somebody in the country. Because again,
just for clarification, we do have those laws. When you're detained under the Constitution and the laws of Trinidad and Tobago, you're entitled to know why you're being detained, why you're being arrested.
Right.
And you do have a right to counsel, and you do have a right to vote.
Right.
When you say you're facing deportation orders, walk us through that. Have your attorneys been told that you are and been given the document of the deportation order and the grounds to the deportation? They've been given.
Well, that's when I was detained and put into the detention center. There was no reasoning. It was just for that deportation. The document, the paper that I had to sign, just said deportation. With
Now,
no
it has been reported in the press that this quoted a portion of the Immigration Act that says you've been deemed an undesirable inhabitant. Have you seen that?
Yes, I heard the word. It wasn't on the document itself, but I've heard the circulation of undesirable. Yes.
Have you been told that by any official?
No.
So you just saw it in newspapers.
There's no definition. I don't know what the definition of an undesirable is. I've come here for one reason, not as a tourist, not as a filmmaker, not as a YouTuber. I've come to fulfill my court appearance. I much rather would have done this virtually, which we requested with the lawyers, but no, the DPP said I had to be in the country.
So that's what I'm not following. If it is that part of your bail conditions is that you had to be present in the country, why would a deportation issue come up if you had to be here? I'm not following that.
Well, my intuition as a semi-intelligent individual is somebody's trying to put me through as much trouble as possible, because none of it makes sense. It doesn't make sense to you. It doesn't make sense to me.
But it all comes from the same state, the state of Trinidad and Tobago, where you have been charged. You're under sedition charges.
Yes.
You applied for bail.
Yes.
Part of the bail condition is that you appear in person in the country for the court case, which is tomorrow.
My court case is done. My appearance in high court in order to get my passport back is tomorrow morning.
Okay, so the matter for which the condition of the bail has been completed, but you can't leave until the high court appearance tomorrow to get your passport back.
Well, to add more complications to it, now that I have a deportation order, even if I get my passport back tomorrow morning, I have to immediately submit that passport now to immigration for another immigration hearing. So I'm not granted permission to leave now that I have this new deportation over me. It adds to the whole process. So what initially, the reason I came here was for a 25-minute virtual court appearance. Just like the first trip I was here, ends up being weeks, if not months, of back and forth requests for my passport. It's a fight for my passport and for my freedom to leave.
So your first matter, the issue of the sedition charge, you said that was completed?
No, but the court appearance was completed and my bail had been changed in a way that I was allowed to leave the country in between hearings.
Right.
And when has that hearing been adjourned to?
Now it's pushed to 14th of January, my next year. And remember, this is not trial. These are just, they're very
trial processes.
Yes, there's no reason that I would have to be here.
Well, I don't know what the court system is, so I can't say. I don't know if that's a requirement of the court system under the conditions of your bail or because of the charges that you're facing. You said you'd rather leave just now.
Yes, of course.
So that's the position you've come to know. You don't want to be here.
I haven't, nothing against Trinidad and Tobago. I had no reason to come back. Right. And if I did come back, let me come back for the 15 or 20-minute court and leave. But the whole process that nobody in the press is talking about is, see, my court case is in front of a magistrate court. OK, because at maximum of facing 2 years in jail for this offense. Now, in my passport is lodged with the high court. Those are two different courts. So now, even though my magistrate court is complete and I don't have to return until January 14th, sounds good on paper, and people continue to say this, including Mr. Hines, that I'm here by option or voluntary, or I'm here filming videos. It's so far from the case. Like, I've been waiting weeks just to get in front of the high court to request my passport back. So again, it's a process, and I'm not here by choice. And a lot of people say, Chris, just leave. I can't leave. I'm on an island without a passport. My bail says that I'm not allowed to leave. So I'm doing everything I can to abide the law, but yet it seems like I'm being targeted for being.
What was the second detention in relation to?
Money laundering. What was the allegation?
And you were told that, or your attorneys were told that?
That's the document that I got. There was a warrant in which again police came and came into the home that I'm residing in and took all my equipment. And yeah, I was questioned for 14 hours by the gang police, undercover gang police, in regards to that evidence of money laundering.
But there was no
no
charge made.
charges.
No charges
No charges.
made.
No, after the 14 hours, my lawyers said, prepare to be here for a long time again. But the truth is, you can't stick something on somebody that has committed no crime. There's no evidence of me committing money laundering. So how are they going to charge me with it? So after 14 hours of interrogation, they were straightforward. They have no evidence that I've committed a crime, so they had to let me go. But what happened the following day is that now they stuck this new problem my way: deportation.
And the equipment that was seized, has it been returned?
No, and equipment has been seized twice. So on my last trip,
what equipment would that entail?
So the first trip, same Mac, Apple computer, 3 cameras, and an iPhone, a new iPhone. So that was my first trip, and the same trip, like this trip, the same thing again. So it's double of everything. They got 2 MacBooks now, 2 iPhones, and 5 cameras.
But Mr. Hughes, who are your lawyers in this current matter situation? Because we had read earlier on that you had a problem with your attorneys with the price and so on, and that you were seeking to represent yourself. Is that an accurate statement?
So now it's so complicated because there's 3 different matters now. I have my first criminal matter, which is sedition, which I'm currently facing myself. I do have a few senior lawyers that have sort of raised their hand and volunteered to help me pro bono. But I mean, as pertaining to tomorrow's high court, it's just myself. And then we have a civil matter in which we've started proceedings against the government for illegal everything against me. We'll put it at that. I've committed no crime here, and therefore there's no reason for me to be arrested or being kicked out of a country that I have to be here. I also have some gentlemen from Fortis that are helping me with this new set of matters. So it's quite complex now. There's 3 different matters over my head, and I have lawyers for some, and I don't have lawyers for others.
What's your gut feeling about what's taking place? Give me your gut feeling. Because you're somebody with experience. You've been around the world. You've experienced issues in other parts of the world before. What is your gut feeling?
I've embarrassed somebody. Somebody doesn't like me. I'll put it that way. Somebody is upset that I was able to film areas that they might not be able to get into. Somebody, I have a newspaper in front of me, right? And I read the newspaper every day, no matter what country I'm in. Like there's no secret, horrible crimes are committed in Trinidad. It's published every day, even on social media. But when an outsider comes in and says the same thing, if I'm committing sedition, where's the sedition here? Like they're just publishing the reality of what's happening in this country. I did no different, but somebody was upset that an outsider came in and showed the world what was really happening. Now, who is that outsider? I have no idea. But I know that I've committed 0 crimes while being in Trinidad.
You're not the first, and you're calling yourself an outsider. You're not the first non-national to come into Trinidad and Tobago and film stuff and put it on social media. What's the difference here in your opinion?
Well, when you say film stuff, what are we talking about? Like the type of stuff that I film? I'm absolutely the first one. People might have come in for a day or 2, filmed, and then left and uploaded the video from a new country. But I mean, nobody did it the way I did it, going to the 10 or 12 worst neighborhoods and filming and uploading the video while I'm still in the country. So that's the difference. They left, I stayed.
So let me ask a question that people are talking out there, right? Because you hear certain things, right? And let me ask this question so we could get it on or off the table right away. Yes. Is there a political agenda to what you are doing?
No, so ridiculous. See, I have a long list of 128 countries I've visited. If you or anybody here on this table were to offer me $100 million to name the 2 political leading parties, I couldn't do it. I couldn't even do it for my life. So I have 0 agenda. I often ask many people to talk on camera. Some oppose and some say yes. Some look at this as an opportunity to say, hey, Chris gets 8 million views per month. It's worth me getting in an interview. Some people will proactively reach out to me. Others won't. right? Well, now the people on the camera that I interview, I'm just interviewing them, but they might have a reason to want to be on camera, right? Like any human. But no, I don't actively go out looking, and I could care less about politics. In my own country, I've never voted in my life, so I'm not into politics, right? I interview.
You've done this in other countries. Have you ever encountered this kind of situation?
No.
In any other country that you filmed and posted stuff about?
No, not even close.
Never happened.
Never even questioned.
Someone puts a question in the chat earlier on. If you just came back for your court appearance, why did you come with 5 cameras?
No, I came with 1 camera.
Oh, you came with 1 camera?
Yeah, I came with 1 camera. People don't realize, but YouTube is fun for people, but this is what I do for a living. Okay, I'm part of an agency. I have to fulfill my duty just like anyone else. Like if, for example, Richard is going to take a week off in Hawaii, but still wants to participate in the Power Breakfast show from Hawaii, from the beach, he turns on his camera and does a video.
So that's your job, right?
Right. He has duties.
So do you have a work permit to operate in Trinidad and Tobago?
No, but I don't need a work permit. Just like he wouldn't if he was in Hawaii and he logged on to the Power Breakfast show to do the video, he wouldn't need a work permit either. I'm not taking away money from those that are in Trinidad. Okay, I'm working virtually, just like if I were to write a novel from Trinidad, and no, I don't need to. My 9-year-old daughter has a YouTube channel. Does she need a work permit? Are we suggesting that everybody that has a YouTube channel that comes to Trinidad needs a work permit? Is that what? I just want to be clear. Or is it just me that needs a work permit? Because
I'm asking a question because
no, but I'm answering the question in the manner that you're on very touchy grounds. Mm-hmm. Does everybody with a laptop need a work permit? There's no doubt when people are on vacation, they're answering work emails from the beach or from so where does the line get crossed? So no, I've been questioned by immigration many times regarding a work permit. No, I don't need a work permit to do what I'm doing. That rule has never been broken, and so there's no charges about that.
Right. Trinidad is a sovereign state, and you're a Canadian national.
Yes.
Has the Canadian embassy become involved in this in any way?
No, they're observers. They're aware of it. I mean, since day one, we've spoken on the phone. But I mean, the best they've done is they brought me juice boxes when I was in prison for 7 days, and maybe some cookies or a chocolate bar. Like that's the best that they've done.
Were you upset? Are you upset in terms of how much the Canadian High Commission has looked into your matter?
More than upset, disgusted. I'm a proud Canadian. When you're locked up abroad and you're going through these type of problems, you hope and you wish that your country backs you, especially when there's no crime committed. Now, had I gone out and committed some vicious crime and they wanted to avoid me, 100%. Then I'm human. I understand why they're doing it. But the matter that I'm going through is a human rights issue. I'm being thrown charge after charge. What we didn't discuss is before my sedition charge, I was arrested on different charges, gang-related charges, that didn't stick either. So it's an obvious attempt at my freedom. So this is one of the reasons that my Team Canada, should be backing me and helping me through the situation. But as they noted, they're observers. They're not like, they don't want to get involved. They just like to.
But what would you have preferred the Canadian diplomats or officials do on your behalf? What would you want them? What have wanted them to do?
I don't know enough about what their duties are, but I often watch on TV when an American is locked up, the American embassy will step up and do whatever it takes to get that person home to freedom and get out of the way of danger. So I would expect them to do more than just observe, like have some input. I'm a Canadian.
But did you make a request of them?
Get you back. You're subject to anybody who comes into the country and has been charged under the laws of the country, because this is a sovereign state, have to go through the processes as prescribed by those laws. I don't think the Canadian officials can get involved in that situation. Right. So it has to be something else that you think that they can do.
I guess the definition of involvement could be different, right? Involvement could be, hey, let's go publish this in the Canadian news. Let's start reaching out to 100 of the biggest human rights resources. Let's speak to some companies in Canada, that lawyers that that this is what they work on, human rights, right? Let's reach out to the UN, see if there's any involvement. Let's do something. no, let's get Chris a juice box. Like there's no, when you're in a place that you're unfamiliar with, no family, no friends, you need somebody on your side, even if it's a pat on the back to say we're here for you. We're gonna do something.
You felt abandoned?
100% abandoned.
But my question, Mr. Hughes, is have you reached out to the embassy? Has your lawyers reached out to the embassy?
So just so you understand the process, when I'm arrested, the embassy is the first one to get noticed. The embassy has known since minute one when I was arrested. So there's no need. It's not like a movie where you have to reach out to the embassy. They know, they're aware. Again, they visited me. They're quite kind people. I'm not saying they're not nice people. Right? Again, when you're in jail, that juice box goes a long way. But I mean, more than that, there's been nothing from the Canadian Embassy or High Commission at all.
There is a conversation going around because of what you've described and what's in the public domain. Well, the sedition charge is one that has to go through the court system in Trinidad and Tobago. That as an aside. But because of what you're alleging, that and I'm paraphrasing, correct me if I'm wrong, that you probably feel you're being harassed. Would that be a correct assumption?
Yes, most definitely.
That because you've been now detained twice, you've been put in the detention center. There was talk about a gang charge that never materialized, money laundering charge that never materialized as of yet anyway, and now the undesirable individual situation, which is part of our law, but that has not been put on your deportation order. Well, what's going to happen in the end is Chris Hughes is going to turn around and sue the state of Trinidad and Tobago. Is that part of your consideration?
100%. Not even consideration. It's happening.
Yeah,
it's happening
he
already.
indicated that was happening.
Yeah. Those papers.
What is your intention to sue the state for?
For everything. For not only the troubles that they're putting me through, the freedoms that they've taken from me. I'm guilty by association. You're throwing charges at me of money laundering with zero evidence because I did not commit money laundering. And I am a 46-year-old man that hopes to live to 120. So for the longevity of my life, I will have gang affiliated charges. I will have money laundering next to my name when you Google it. Okay. It is the association to a crime that I did not commit, nor was there ever any evidence of me committing. And I'll say the same with every charge that I've been thrown at here in Trinidad. Their attempt to tarnish my name is something I will have to live with far long after the sedition charge. Craziness. So will that impede my opportunity to get a mortgage on a house? Most definitely. Will there be times where I try to visit a new country and they search my name and they see this? Most definitely. My job is to travel, and Trinidad is doing everything in their power as a whole to keep me away from my job and making a living for my family. So when asked, did I initially come to Trinidad to get rich off suing the government? Don't be ridiculous, right? But time after time, you've said I've been detained twice. I've been detained more than twice on at least 8 to 10 different charges. So I'm obviously being harassed. I'm being targeted, all because somebody did not like one of my videos. Again, in my videos, no laws were broken. That's why all the charges were dropped related to gang promotion and gang aiding and abetting and gang whatever other charge they gave me.
Well, you just said the government. Are you willing to differentiate the government from the state, or do you think it's specifically from the government?
I don't even know the difference. I don't know about politics. I don't know about government and state. What I'm saying is somebody in power or somebody that has the ability to continually harass and detain me is doing their best to drive me crazy, because I have fear at night of police.
To follow up on Paul's question, Mr. Hughes, do you believe it's somebody in the government or as opposed to somebody in the police service?
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know enough about the police service or the government. I couldn't name 3 people that work in the government. My job is actually quite simple. I visit a country with no knowledge. I walk around, I talk to people, and I film. I'm often told that I give people a voice that are voiceless. I don't come and I don't do research on politics or the hierarchy of the police station. I've met very nice police officers and military and correctional officers along the way. They stop and take a picture with me. but I don't look into it any deeper than that.
Have you been back in the areas that you went where this initial issue started? Have you been back in those areas since?
No. Well, I went to St. Paul once to film a video when I first returned, but no, I didn't go to any other neighborhoods.
When, as a blogger, your trade is part of the attention economy, correct?
Yes.
Right. Would you say that your sites have been seeing more traffic since your issues in Trinidad and Tobago, or your work in Trinidad and Tobago, or your blog, your video work in Trinidad and Tobago, and since your legal issues or your challenges in Trinidad and Tobago, or has it damaged or has it impeded your site?
Damage. It's completely opposite. Like people hear Christmas list, they see the name. There's no call to action. I'm not on these TV shows like, hey, go to my YouTube and start watching my videos. So what people are doing, they must be doing, is just Googling my name. So I mean, my viewership before Trinidad was 4 or 5 times higher per month than it is right now. Look, like any other human being in Trinidad, I'm getting tired of myself. I don't want to see myself in the news every day. So it's like I get nothing from this, and it's the opposite. I can't film. When I'm in other countries, I'm filming 30 videos in 30 days. Here, I don't have that ability. So I'm viewership is completely.
So do you think this whole situation has damaged your brand?
100%. It's not like everything is factual. So if you were to look at my summary of just very basic statistics over the last 3 years, and you were to compare that to the last 3 months, these have been the worst 3 months I've ever had. Not even close. So it's not even about what I think. It's actual and factual. It has made a huge impact. And my inability to travel, I can't leave. I'm stuck. I can't go to work in a different country. I can't move around.
So, Mr. Hughes, if this problem, right, if this situation developed because of certain videos that you made in certain areas, was there ever a proposal for you to
Wendell's frozen.
We lost you, Wendell.
I think he said, was there ever a proposal to remove the videos?
I think that's where he's
move those videos and we leave you alone? Has anybody ever approached you?
No. So my suggestion during my questioning phase of the sedition is, if my videos are seditious in nature, tell me which ones, and I'll remove them. And I have my disclosure in front of me. It's not right here, but it's somewhere here, where the people questioning me said, no, we would never ask you to remove the videos. Now, I took it upon myself to remove the videos for 2 weeks, just because I thought it would be the right thing to do during my locked up phase. When I was released, I asked again, is there any reason that I should have these videos down? And they said, no, we can't stop you from uploading videos. I broke no rules. I broke no laws in pertaining to YouTube. So YouTube didn't take down the videos. So when I got released from jail, I made them live again. They were always there. They were just hidden from public. But no, nobody has ever suggested or asked me to ever remove any videos.
No, the only thing that came to mind when I looked at your videos, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, because my memory, because the video is not up anymore. I have searched for the video and I haven't seen it. Is you were in St. Augustine following some police involved shootings a couple of months ago. Would that be correct?
I don't recognize the name St. Augustine. Is there a different name it might have gone by?
St. John's Road. Could have been St. John's Road. Could have been.
I still don't recognize the name.
Yeah, but then it doesn't make sense going, because there were police involved shootings, and I think the word killed was used, and it had me kind of jolted. But if you can't remember it, I can't.
So no video has been removed. So any video that has been there, the title itself might change. If statistically a title's not doing well, I might have changed the title. But the videos themselves, every single video I've ever filmed in Trinidad is live on my channel right now.
So what's next for you in this country?
Hopefully get out of the country. That's it. All of my equipment has been taken. I'm using somebody's laptop right now to talk to you. I don't have deep pockets, and every time all my equipment gets taken, it could cost me anywhere from like $6,000 to $10,000 to go rebuy all these items. I don't have.
So the original set of equipment has not been yet returned to you?
No, on both occasions. So
all your equipment is in the custody of Trinidad and Tobago's system.
Yeah. So
Of
even
laptops, 2 phones, 5 cameras.
yeah, and
But
you sort of touched upon it and said like nothing has been like built up of this money laundering. That has been dropped. Like that is null and void. The reason I'm not in jail is because there's no evidence of that. So that is not something. There's no charge against me. Nothing like that. But the items that were taken during that warrant are still being held hostage. Yes.
Have your lawyers?
So why haven't your lawyers? Yeah, why haven't your lawyers applied to get them back?
They have. It's all part of the process here in Trinidad. Like it doesn't happen. Nothing happens immediately. So it's the due process.
What about the latest seizure? Because you would have had a laptop and cameras taken recently.
Yes.
Are they at least trying to get that back?
Yes.
And no success so far?
No.
Has anyone associated with you in the country also been questioned related to these proposed charges which never materialized and the sedition charge that you're facing?
No, not that I know of. You have to understand when I go to a community and I interview strangers, I don't get their phone number. We're not like pen pals. We don't keep in touch. I become aware the same way you guys, and I guess in the media, become aware by reading the newspaper. So I mean, I don't know these people. I don't know how to reach out to them, and I meet hundreds, if not thousands, of people in each country. So not that I'm aware of. No.
In an interview with one of our colleagues on this platform, I think in the afternoon, earlier on, in the very early stages of these challenges that you're facing, you said because there was so much attention and because where you were staying had been published, that you felt unsafe to a certain level. Would that be accurate?
Yes.
Do you still feel unsafe?
Yes.
What do you feel? What makes you feel unsafe?
The not knowing. I guess rules are different country to country. I don't know the rules. I've never been in trouble in a different country. But when somebody I don't know how to put this without sounding like a big-headed man, but with somebody of how popular I've become due to these problems and a lot of fake information out there in news. Yet when I'm arrested last week and detained in warrant, it's released. The news releases the address where I'm at. So I mean, all it takes is one, we'll say, idiot with a grudge or that's upset or that's delusional, to end my life. So I'm always on the swivel. We live here with some big dogs, and the dogs are my warning signal. I jump up every single night when I hear those dogs at the gate barking to see what it is, what's going on. That's something
Would you say you've been treated well by Trinidad and Tobago Police Service?
How can I say that? I mean, there's individuals.
Well, I mean, they can do their duty and still treat you with respect. So that's where the question comes from.
Yes. I have no ill complaints against any individuals in the police service that I know. Obviously, I don't want to be arrested without evidence of a crime. But no, everyone from the people questioning me to the correctional officers in the detention center to every step along the way, I've met nothing but polite and kind, professional individuals.
That's great to know. How is your family dealing with this? Because you have a wife and children, and this must be something for them in Canada.
Yeah. My eldest son is 18. He's well aware. People that know him send him messages laughing like dad's in jail again. My middle son has autism. He stays away from social media. My daughter's too young to really understand. So my wife tries to hide the information when possible. How does she feel? I don't know. She's a strong woman. She has she supports me. And hopefully I have the thoughts that she has, and I just want to get home. I just want to get home to my family.
What is your support like in terms of regular Trinidadians and Tobagonians, in terms of what you're going through, whether it be the detention center or the charges that didn't hold? What do Trinidadians, everyday Trinidadians and Tobagonians tell you if they interface with you?
In person, it's 100% positive feedback for the people that come up to me. Look, if somebody's across the street and doesn't like me and doesn't say or interact with me, I can't read their mind. But I mean, I interact with hundreds of people every single day. Young, small, light skin, dark skin, rich, poor, and it's 100% feedback. Chris, we need you. Don't stop, don't stop the fight. People need to be heard. Last night at 8:30, I was at a celebration of life, because 10 days ago a 20-year-old boy was killed 10 doors down from where I'm living, was murdered. And I went there to visit the family yesterday. No cameras. I had a camera. Somebody hadn't let me borrow it. I didn't want to film it because I'm not about views. And they were crying to me and saying, Chris, you need to continue to show the world what we're going through, the average people here. Don't stop. Don't stop. And this is what motivates me to do what I do. I have no agenda. I'm just trying to come up with some sort of, I don't even know how to put it. I know I will not stop crime in Trinidad. And people will say Canada has more than enough problems, which I would agree to. But when I go to country, the job that I take on is I just want to document and show the world what's going on. If there's a tsunami in Japan, I'm flying there to show the damages. If there's war in Ukraine, I flew to Ukraine to show what's going on. I didn't come to Trinidad with ill intent. I love Trinidad and the people.
So that's fine. What put Trinidad and Tobago on your radar that made you want to come here in the first place?
It is the question I get asked most often, and I don't have a fancy reply. I'm going to every country in the world. This is my country 128. So I chose to go to 127 countries before Trinidad. So as you can see, it wasn't high on my list.
No, I didn't say it was high on your list. I'm asking,
No.
well, something must have drawn us to your attention.
No. There's nothing that drew me at all. I'm going to every country. There's 197.
Is this a random choice?
A random choice. I'm going to every country in the world. But I mean, since coming to the country, I wish I would have come years ago. I didn't know Trinidad was this incredible. I didn't know the people to be this kind, right? But no, there was no specific reason I came on this occasion. It was just next in line.
So who?
Go ahead.
Sorry, who would have been the Trinidadians who would have welcomed you and taken you around and so on? Because you didn't go to those places by yourself, did you?
I went to the places by myself. 99% of them, yes. It's always me. Like my resume, if you look through my videos, it's just me alone. I don't bring other people with me out of fear for their lives. Me, myself, I feel like I can control myself. As for being with other people, I would never want to be held responsible for their lives. And that's the reason I go by myself.
So you had no knowledge of Trinidad and Tobago before you actually landed here?
No, I have friends in Toronto that are from Trinidad. I've eaten the food before. I've listened to some soca music. But no, I didn't know anybody in the country, no.
All right. Are you willing to take some calls, Mr. Hughes?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Our phone lines are open. Our guest is Christopher Hughes, Christmas list.
Yep, 62 power, option 5, and of course, toll free North Americans in Canada, 866-525-1099. That's our numbers directly into our studio.
I can certainly see why you feel a sense of harassment, because, I mean, with the exception of this decision, which is now a charge which you're facing in the courts, I mean, being detained on 2 occasions, having your name associated, and I think the authorities will corroborate this with gang activity, money laundering, and what's the other one?
Well, now deportation.
The deportation it's not something that you feel anyone would feel comfortable about in any way, particularly if you were detained and there was not enough evidence to detain you further or charge you, as I understand the criminal justice system. Call Steve.
Yep. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Mr. Hughes. Mr. Hughes, my heart goes out to you. I want to extend my sympathies. I want to extend my apologies on behalf of Trinidad and Tobago, because we're supposed to be a better country than this. I am one of the activists that keeps a close eye on police officers, and your experience it gives me motivation to keep going, to keep an eye on police officers, because clearly they are capable of ruining your life if left unchallenged and unopposed. And I want to say that it is not just the police, because I want to believe this comes from a higher up more on a political level, because a deportation order doesn't come from the police. That comes from immigration. So it seems like somebody high up is activating a set of different organizations to victimize you. And that is a serious problem that I'm hearing and I'm seeing that we are having in Trinidad. And they are doing it, because I strongly believe they are doing it because they were embarrassed by the videos that you made, and they embarrassed the police, they embarrassed the Attorney General, they embarrassed the National Security Council, they embarrassed everybody by those videos that you made, and they are trying to activate the different organized units at the defense, at the
National Security Infrastructure.
National Security Infrastructure, and target all of them, put their bullseye on you. I cannot for the life of me understand how first of all, why did they ask you to come back to the country for a virtual hearing? You could have done nothing from in Canada.
Yeah, Mrs. We have other calls. Huh?
Yeah.
We have other.
Thank you.
One thing is right about is the police ability to change your life at the drop of a hat. That one is true. Certain.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning to the panel.
Morning.
Good morning.
Muslif, one question.
Yes. Yes.
Trinidad. That's my.
All right, you're breaking up. You have to call 62 power option 5. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, all. Good morning, Mr. Hughes. I'm calling to you. My heart goes out to you. I feel for you. I ask you to keep the faith and hope that good and legal sense will prevail. And I apologize to you from the land of my birth to treat you how they're treating you. I really do apologize. I've been following you for the past few months. I just got to know you, and I feel like I know you well. You just keep the faith, sir, and we'll pray for you. Take care, Mr. Hughes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. 62 power option 5. Good morning.
Yes, good morning to the Power family.
Morning. Morning, Orlando.
Morning to the no, this is Derek Neal. Listen, I had a question for Chris. Chris, I had a question for you.
Yes.
When you entered, I'm in media, right? And
yes.
When I enter certain countries, it is always ask you purpose of your visit. Now, when you came into Trinidad, what did you put down as purpose of your visit? That's my question.
So on my first trip is tourism.
Tourism.
My second trip, I'm not here as a tourist. I'm here to fulfill my obligations in court.
All right.
So that's not an option you can normally tick. So the immigration wrote it on my I don't know what you want to call it, my
immigration form.
So do you think there's a conflict there? Because I understand your explanation earlier on that, well, if you with your laptop, I travel and I do work on my laptop and I didn't get a work permit, but I'm doing work, but I'm not, I didn't think I needed, so I understand your explanation earlier. But when you put tourist on your visit and you are doing stuff that you make a living from, you understand? Do you think that's a conflict there?
But again, it's like, I'm not a lawmaker, right? And if you make a law, the law has to abide to everyone. So again, if you're suggesting everybody that has a YouTube has to now apply, well, Trinidad would first and foremost be the only country in the world. Countries want people to come and take photos. And
I'm not suggesting it is. I'm just saying
I'm not opposing you, and I understand the question exactly. But I'm saying, at what point do we stop? People make an income from Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, now X, YouTube, and many other ways. So again,
but I'm just playing bush lawyer.
No, I'm with you, and I agree and I understand. So I mean, just to the caller, him working for a mainstream media is not the same as me coming with a little GoPro camera. We're both filming stuff, but we're not in the same world. He works for a business.
It's a gray area because we could also say, and I guess they may be able to argue in court if they so desire, but that you haven't been charged with breaking a work permit to sue in the country in any way.
So my initial arrest before sedition included that charge, and that charge was dropped because there was no evidence of me breaking any work permit.
Because I was going to say, people come for Carnival all the time, film stuff, come with cameras and upload it to their sites, and nobody says anything.
Of course.
You understand?
Right.
So that's the other side of it.
All right, taking a couple of calls again. Good morning.
Sorry to call back, guys. But Chris, I had a statement to make to you.
Yes.
Somehow along the line, you did say that you are in media. So when you enter the country, you're supposed to tell the immigration that you're media. You can't come in and say that you're a tourist and you're uploading stuff and putting it on media. You're actually working as a media. So you're supposed to notify them as such. And that, to me, is the conflict where you're facing right now. That's what started and pulled the trigger on.
So can I answer your question? Can I answer?
Remember, you were not just a tourist uploading stuff. Like, I'm in Trinidad. You actually said you're part of media and you have a media company. So if you have a media company and you're doing that stuff, that's a conflict.
Let him respond, please.
Let me respond. I've never said that I have a media company. I don't have a media company. I'm a YouTuber. Okay, and just so we're clear, as of today's date, I've never broken any law pertaining to work. So what you're voicing is your opinion, which is fine. Everybody respectfully can have an opinion, but no, like the actual factual.
I will pull up something that indicated that somehow you did say you're part of media.
No, I've said I'm a journalist. I've stated that I'm a
conversation like you having today. Anyway, guys, you guys go ahead. Have a good day.
I think you did say you work for a media company. Would you say?
What company have I said? No,
I may be wrong, but
I'm a journalist. I stand corrected if I'm a journalist. But we're arguing about apples and oranges. I have not. None of my charges are pertaining to that.
Okay, so and that's why I asked the question earlier.
He's given his opinion that he should do this and you should do that. But I'm saying again, if that's going to become a law, then make that a law. Everybody that's going to upload to social media, because everybody on this panel has social media, and at some point you're outside of your country. So if the law is every time you upload to Instagram, you need to apply for a media, then I'll abide by that law. But you can't pick and choose who has to follow those rules.
But it depends on if you're uploading in someone's interpretation. It's part of your revenue base and can be considered work.
Because my 9-year-old daughter makes a very small commission, but she makes money. So the day and era has changed. There are people making profit from every Instagram post, even them showing a bikini on a beach. So if it's in law, if it's stated in law that everybody that makes a profit, I've been making profit online my whole life since the internet has started, even when I'm in a different country. So we have to understand that I'm not being charged with that crime because I
was going to say that's not the charge you're facing.
Right.
Chris, closing comments?
I love Trinidad. I love Tobago. I'm tired of this. I'm as tired of myself in the media as everyone else is. I get it. I'm very confident in the judicial system. I would like to go again and say police, firefighters, military, correctional officers I've met have been the kindest people in the world, even when in, we'll say, dark situations like me being detained. So I would like to thank them, everyone's kindness and support in the country. I am very confident that I will be found innocent. I know I've committed no crime and I came with no ill intention. I love Trinidad. I would encourage everybody around the world to come visit this incredible country. And if I had one wish that I could make to the world is like the violence here in Trinidad has to be stopped. Too many young people, old people being murdered. And Trinidad has so much more to offer than crime. So I hope somebody in this government or this country can help cure the problem.
Chris, thanks for being with us this morning. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. This is probably your most looked YouTube interview anyway. So all the best, because you were just interviewed by the top in the country.
I like that. Thank you very much, Wendell.
You say so about yourself.
Okay.
Thank you, Chris. All the best. All right, gentlemen.
Let's have a great day. Be safe. Wendell, you'll not be with us tomorrow. Is that what you're saying? Or you'll log on from wherever you are? He's on a plane again.
All right. I'll join you guys in the morning again.
Right.
Folks, have a wonderful day. Remember to let go.
And stop interfering with Double Palm business model, please. You're causing them some problems.
Listen, Paul, you make the news. You've gone viral yesterday.
I'll take you out of the feed now.
I sent it for him. What? Did you just cut him off?
Yes.
You just cut him off.
I have the power to do so. Have a good day.
Paul went viral.
Bye. Have a great day. Be safe.
And then why did you do so bad? Oh my God. Anyway, Trinidad and Tobago, have a fantastic day. Of course, just reminding you that theater is on this weekend. If you need to be de-stressed and to relax and to laugh and have a good time and you know, to enjoy entertainment, you can take it in one show at Sapa on Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Lotto Madness is at Sapa for one night only on Sunday the 15th at 6:30 p.m. Of course, tickets available at the Sapa box office, 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily, and tickets also available at K Squared Fashion, C3 Center, Gulf City, and Brentwood Mall in Chagonas, as well as Fence of Marabella by the Roundabout. You can also purchase tickets online. Check RSRR Productions theater page on social media. Have a fantastic day, whatever you do, and remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health. The weekend begins tonight, people, at a second after midnight.
All right, and Lotto has rolled over once again. It is now at $16 million. You can come to the Pet Butler and play your Lotto ticket and pick up your pet supplies. Elsco Road and Murad Street at the corner of. All right, let's get into our 8 o'clock news brief. If you's in.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
It is time for news update to 8 o'clock. I'm Avril Cynthia Bab. Good morning. Christopher Christmasless Hughes says he is mentally and physically exhausted following his recent detainment. He said his incarceration made no sense to him and told the Power Breakfast Show this morning that he was taken in the night by men wearing ski masks and was not told what he was being detained for or initially allowed to speak with his lawyers. He also stated that he was back in the country because of his court case on sedition charges for a 25-minute court appearance. So he was quite confused when he was taken to the Immigration Detention Center, Eastern Main Road, Aripo. He said there was no evidence to keep him detained, so they had to release him. The 45-year-old is currently charged with making a seditious publication and has pleaded not guilty to the offense, which goes to trial in January. He was first arrested in July. Last week, Hughes was detained in connection with allegations of money laundering. Police said his Apple laptop, iPhone, portable hard drive, GoPro camera, and other devices were seized by investigators as part of an ongoing investigation into money laundering. He said he is not permitted to leave the country and said he has committed no crime here and there is no reason for him to be treated this way by local law enforcement. He disclosed his gut feeling is that he upset someone high up, that an outsider came to Trinidad and Tobago and showed the world what's really happening in TNT. He said that he was doing nothing wrong in recording gang life in TNT and did not require work permit to do so. He says that he fully intends to sue the state of Trinidad and Tobago after his troubles. A horror scene in Tobago as a mother is mourning after her daughter and 2 grandchildren were found dead inside a decommissioned Water and Sewage Authority tank in Palatuve, Tobago last night. Police officers from the Mariah station discovered the bodies of 33-year-old Sarah Smith of Palatuve, along with her 3-year-old son Genuine and 18-month-old daughter Phoenix in the water tank, which is near to their home. The grim discovery was made during a search operation in the area, which also involved members of the Hunters Search and Rescue Team. The mother and 2 children were last seen in Trinidad on August 30th. However, the last time they were physically seen in Tobago was on September 2nd. Relatives of murdered father and son Marlon and Malik Lee are very upset with social media posts following the murders. They have heavily criticized those on social media for irresponsible reporting on the Pity Valley triple murders after the identity of the surviving son was widely broadcast on some sites following the killings on Monday night. 41-year-old Marlon, 17-year-old Malik, and Marlon's common-law wife, 34-year-old Selena Rodriguez, were gunned down at their home at Cedar Trace, Upper Pioneer Drive, Pity Valley at 9:36 p.m. Well, that was your news update at 8 o'clock. Look out for news in full at 12 noon.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
Legislation sets the tone for how we treat each other as a society. It provides those boundaries and the expectations, and it also upholds the rights of all of the citizens.
Legislation is important for everyone in society as it sets rules and regulations that create an organized, safe, and fair environment in which everyone is equal.
They formed the opinion that because you have a disability, that you are somehow unintelligent, stupid, ridiculously asinine, you name it. So legislation is quite important, and I hope that legislation is soon coming so that people with disabilities can be who they are. People first, disabilities after.
Which happened at 46 in the morning. All right, let's hear you now.
You hear me better?
Oh,
Testing,
wonderful.
testing.
Plenty better.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Fantastic. Thank you, David.
Sure, not a problem.
I had to pull you out the feed you were wondering, you know. You've got up to get your headphones. We were hoping you were fully dressed, you know. We didn't
Of course I was. You know
we
that.
didn't want to give them any extra ratings this morning.
No.
All right, thanks for joining us. Of course, David West is the director of the Police Complaints Authority.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw recently that you made some comments on the issue of police body cams, TTPS body cams, and you were encouraging, you were advocating for more consistent use of body cams. What has your data from the PCA side told you about the issues that would have come to your attention, the reports that would have come to your attention, and how often police were wearing body cams?
Okay, the police, for the fatal police shootings thus far that we have investigated, we have not received any body cam footage from the police service. However, there were instances where there were non-fatal shootings and the police were wearing body cameras. However, for some reason, we did not obtain the footage because the footage was lost when in translation. So the short answer is, Paul, that we've had no body cam footage from the police service.
Put a full stop, comma there. You have not received footage from fatal encounters involving police.
Correct.
At all. And for the ones that are non-fatal, where there was body cam footage, the footage was lost. What does that mean?
Well, in one matter, for example, they said the footage, the officer didn't turn on the camera. He had it on, but it wasn't turned on. And in another instance, it had fallen in some mud. And we didn't get the footage.
I didn't mean to laugh, eh? I didn't. My apologies for laughing. My goodness.
The camera fell into mud, and so the footage was not available.
Yes.
Have you had conversations with the Commissioner of Police about, or the DCP probably in charge of operations regarding these developments? Because the police leadership is on record as saying that their policy indicates that, particularly in high-stakes encounters, the wearing of body cam and the use of body cams, which police have been trained in, is standard operating procedure.
No, we haven't had discussions. I've written letters on advice via under the Act. We could issue advice to the Commissioner of Police. I've done that. I've had other discussions with other officers regarding body-worn cameras, informally, and formally, but I have not spoken with the Commissioner directly on the issue of the body-worn cameras. I saw Mr. Benjamin said, in an interview that they will make a better effort in wearing the body cameras. I am informed that they have ordered about 3,000 body cameras, and that should be rolled out sometime in September, October, and later on next year. So I am waiting patiently to see what happens with this when this first batch of body cameras is rolled out. I hope that with all the publicity surrounding the issue of body cameras now, the police will do the right thing and they would wear the body cameras on these investigations, and especially when it may or may not involve a police-involved shooting. For example, when they're going on a search warrant to search for arms and ammunition, for example, or when the task force is going on a operation.
When I heard you say that just about the body cam fell into the mud, and that you've written to the Commissioner and you haven't received responses, I'm actually taking deep breaths to maintain my composure, to be very honest. My reaction is actually one of a little anger because of the gravity of the situation, because it's almost like, you don't need to answer this. It's almost, I get the impression that the police service is taking us for fools. And you don't have to concur, but that's the impression I get when I hear this from someone like you in your position, who have the constitutional remit to get information, data, and cooperation from the police service to investigate police conduct.
Well, let me ask David, Paul, what was your reaction when that was told to you, Mr. West?
Well, in this job, you're given a lot of red herrings, all right? And so what I did is that we just wrote the commissioner on the file stating that this happened and this was said, and please talk to your officers or make sure it doesn't happen again.
I don't know how. Let me move on from this. How cooperative have you ever received body cam footage from the police at all?
No body cam footage.
Never.
In
the history of your tenure as director of the Police Complaints Authority in investigating allegations of police misconduct, substantiated or not, you have never received body cam footage from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service?
As far as I know, looking through the files, we have never had body cam footage. We've had camera footage from cell phones, CCTV footage, etc., but never a body-worn camera issued to the TTPS.
How disturbing is that to you, given the police position on the use of body cams, the police having invested taxpayers' dollars in body cams that they now have in their position, the police investing time in training in the use of body cams, the police ordering 3,000 more body cams, the Minister of National Security on record is saying, as far as he's been told, body cam use is part of standard operating procedure. The police leadership saying police body cam use is part of standard operating procedure. But you, as the director of the PCS, are now able to say, hopefully uncontrovertibly, that you have never received footage from the police service in investigating these issues.
Yeah, that is correct, Paul. We have not received video footage, body cam footage.
Let me ask this question then, Mr. West. Are you aware, were you ever made aware in any of the investigations that have come before you that there was in fact body cam footage but was not provided outside of the camera that fell in the mud and the ones that were lost in charge? Are you aware of any other incident that there was in fact body cam footage but it wasn't provided to you?
Well, if there was body cam footage and it wasn't provided to me, that would be a breach of the act. And, there are sanctions for that. But as far as I know, from our investigations we have done thus far, we have not received any body-worn camera footage from the TTPS.
Let's widen the conversation. Body cam footage is evidence that you can use in investigating. And very often we think because the PC is investigating, it automatically means police officers are guilty of something. That's not so. You're investigating to ascertain whether or not allegations of improper conduct are true or not. And very often they are proven to be incorrect and unsubstantiated. Correct?
That is correct, yes.
So
that
people, very often they get this impression that, well, the PC out to get the police, and that is not true. The PC is a constitutional unit. Do you, given that you have not received body cam footage, do you get a sense that you have access to or have received other forms of evidence in your investigation of issues that come to your attention or are reported to you?
Yes, we do get evidence, other forms of evidence. We get the station diary extracts, we get the forensic evidence, we get all the other evidence, Paul, that we request and that we know of. Okay, and how we do know that is because sometimes we audit the police file, so we see the types of evidence that the police can get from when we order the file. For example, we get E99 calls. When there's a call out, we can get that. We know the vehicles that were used. We know the officers involved. So we do get detailed reports from the police, which I'm thankful for. But when we're talking about the body-worn camera footage, we do not get that footage. We get all the other evidence, but for some reason, the body worn camera footage is non-existent.
Have you ever received dash cam footage,
No.
or in some of the cars they have an overhead camera? Have you ever received footage from those?
Not as far as I'm aware, no.
So video footage has not formed part of the evidence that has been provided by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service to the Police Complaints Authority.
Yes.
Do you have cause to interact with the Police Service Commission for any reason?
The commissioner or commission?
Commission.
Yes, I do interact with the Police Service Commission, yes.
Because the Police Service Commission evaluates the performance of the commissioner and or the deputy commissioners, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Does the issue of that level of accountability ever come up in those conversations? I'm not expecting you to divulge confidential conversations, but as part of their assessment, has that been asked of you?
Okay, to answer that question, I don't want the, for reasons of confidentiality, we are asked, PCA is given a form to evaluate the commissioner and deputy commissioner, and I won't go into details about what is on and what is not on the form.
And I'm assuming that's a constitutional remit.
Well, yes.
Form. It is.
Well, it's from the Police Service Commission.
Okay.
These PCA publishes annual reports on
yes.
on reports and investigations regarding the TTPS in general. Would you say that you are seeing more reports of that you have to investigate? And if you could give us a sense of the trends that you're seeing regarding your 21, 22, 23, 24 reports versus what comes out of the investigations regarding police issues and misconduct. Is there an improvement because of the oversight mechanism and in terms of what you can see? Or are there areas that you think that there needs to be improvement? Because I know you provide recommendations also.
Well, there are always areas of improvement. And what we have found was that the reports have been increasing. For example, I could tell you that in 2024 to 2015, 1 year, we had 321 complaints. Then in 2017 to 2018, we had 420 complaints. And then it peaked in 2022-23 when we had 713 complaints. So from 2014 to 2024, June of this year, we've had 4,411 complaints. Of that, 495 matters were referred to the Commissioner of Police, 121 matters referred to the DPP, 66 matters referred to both COP and DPP, and we proffered advice to the Commissioner of Police on 219 matters. And regarding the Police Service Commission, we offered advice on 1 matter to the Police Service Commission.
Is there a time frame within which someone can complain to the PCA?
Yes, under the Act, it says a year, but however, it's up to the discretion of the director or deputy director to take the matter after 1 year, depending on the circumstances of why they took so long to report it. Plus, you have to remember also, we need to gather the evidence.
Right.
And gathering evidence from a matter happening 2 months is difficult enough compared to gathering a matter that happened a year ago, because of course, station diary extracts. Yeah. The books change, the books go into warehousing or whatever it is. And, it's just a delay, and the longer the delay is, the longer the evidence and the harder the evidence will be to collect.
Right. So for the purposes of information, Mr. West, if you could take us through the process, how someone can make a complaint to the PCA. And I'm going specifically, let's say that last incident with the policewoman with the camouflage rag. Right. If that girl wanted to take a complaint to the PCA, how should she go about doing it?
Okay, there are several methods she can go about doing it. I would say the one method will be to come into the PCA at level 24 Tower D by the Hyatt, or in Tobago, we have an office in Tobago in Bacalet Street in Tobago. She comes into the PCA and says that I need to make a complaint. She's then taken to our complaints officers, who take the complaint in as much detail as possible. That complaint is then tracked to our legal department to determine whether or not it falls within remit. That is, whether or not it's a serious disciplinary offense, a criminal offense, or police corruption. Once that happens, she gets a letter within 7 days saying that the matter is within remit or is not within remit. Once it is not in remit, she gets a letter stating so. If it is within remit, she gets a letter stating that, and also to the contact information for her investigator. The investigator will then contact the complainant and say, I have your complaint, I've read your statement, but you need to come in to make a further statement because X and Y wasn't taken. So that would happen. Once that happens,
sorry, go ahead.
Once the statement is taken, it may or may not be taken, but once it is done, it is then, the investigator then goes out and investigates the matter. So the legal department then gives the investigator a remit, for example, discreditable conduct, misbehavior in public office. So they're looking for they're looking for evidence to prove these factors. Now, during the course of an investigation, of course, other issues may arise, which the investigator will come to the legal officer and say this, and then they would then expand the remit as the case may be. Once that has happened,
at what point in time is the officer informed?
Well, that will happen later on because remember, this is a confidentiality matter. So I'll come to that.
Okay.
So once the investigation is completed, the investigator then does his report. His report is then sent to the legal department to assess. So the legal department then assesses whether or not the evidence gathered and the statements gathered are sufficient to justify the remit offenses outlined. If it is not, they go back and do further work. If it is, the legal department then does a memo to the director or the deputy director. And that memo outlines the evidence, everything that will be done to show that there is a case to answer or there's not a case to answer. We will then look at the remit. We will go through the file from the complainant's first statement to when it's arrived at our desk, and we will decide whether or not to make a referral or not. Okay. Now, if we make a referral, well, before we make the referral, and we have evidence at the point in time to issue what we call a defaulter letter to the commission, to the officer, we will then issue a defaulter letter saying, listen, this has happened. This is the evidence. Of course, in the letter, you've given your constitutional right to remain silent, which they can. Do you want to say anything about it? And at that point, the officer is alerted to a complaint has been made against him. And he can or cannot, he may or may not issue a statement to us. If he doesn't, well, we go on the evidence we have and make a referral. If he does make a statement and it's a plausible statement, well, then we don't make the referral.
Okay.
Now, among the recommendations in the last report that I had sight of, there are disciplinary issues, there are misbehavior in public office, there's discreditable conduct, and in some instances, there are recommendations for the DPP to look at the file for consideration for criminal charges. Would that be correct?
That's correct.
How have any of the recommendations been acted upon in the last 2 years, 3 years?
Yes, the DPP has issued. They have been investigated. The DPP has agreed with our findings and has gone on to well, what he does, and he goes on to issue the complaint to the Commissioner of Police to this is a matter worth investigating, and then our file is handed over to an investigator to look at the matter. Now, many times, of course, in fatal police shootings, for example, the police are also doing an investigation. But of course, we would have their file because we are allowed to ask for their police investigation file. So we would have their file, and their file will form part of the evidence that we will be using. So in theory, it should be really the police, our PCA file should be handed over to the PCA, the police investigator, to just to move forward. And just to, because we may have some statements that he doesn't have, etc. And then it should be, whether or not the police officer is satisfied that there's enough charges, there's enough evidence to issue a charge, he would then go back to the DPP and say, DPP, listen, we have this X, Y, and Z, what do we do? And the DPP will say, yes, go ahead and charge, or no, there's not enough evidence, don't go ahead and charge.
How closely do you work with the Professional Standards Bureau?
How closely, sorry, Paul?
You work with the Professional Standards Bureau?
Oh, very closely, very closely. I work closely with all of the units and departments within the police service, Homicide Bureau, Fraud Squad. I have contacts with the other officers that I call. So many times I can call an officer and get information based on an investigation, and so I have a very good relationship with the police service.
So you don't encounter the blue wall of silence?
It happens because what happens is that the officers that we have grown accustomed to have transferred, moved on, and new officers come in, and there is the initial blue wall of silence. But once we discuss with them what we are doing, or what we want to do, and how we go about doing it, they understand that, as Paula said earlier, we are not out to get them, out to prosecute them. We are out to find the truth. We are doing an independent civilian investigation, and wherever the truth, because we have closed many files, we have closed a lot of files, all right, because of insufficient evidence. We found the complainant has, lost his or her number, and there's just not the evidence there. I mean, they may have thought that there was the evidence, and we have investigated the matter, but the evidence does not reach that standard of a referral to the COP or DPP. So it is just an independent investigation.
David, how involved is the PCA at the level of the Police Training Academy? And is the remit of the PCA part of the curriculum of police officers being trained?
Thanks for that question, Richard. Yes, we are involved with the training. Every batch that comes out, before or after they either when they now come in or sometime during their training, the PCA comes in and gives a discussion to the police, to the trainees. Okay. And I also, before that, I was also asked to do a discussion on ethics with the with senior officers also as part of their training also. So Mr. Simon Alexis, the provost for the academy, I knew him, I know him very well, and he has encouraged that, and so I look forward to continuing with the education with the TTPS. And that lecture, let me tell you, was very enlightening and very well received. And it was about 2 hours, and it felt like about 5 minutes, because the engagement with the officers and what they said and to me and the interaction was beautiful. And I really, really enjoyed that. I get a lot of criticism that we're out to get the police, or I say things but the police, I believe that the majority of police officers understand what I want to do and what PCA is about. However, there are some officers there that just cannot get over the fact that a civilian has certain powers that can compel the police to do something. And that has to change. Okay, and that is what we're trying to work on, because the police must understand that they're not a law unto themselves, and that they have there's a independent civilian body established by an act of parliament that allows them to get certain information when they are doing an investigation, a legitimate investigation.
How much legal remit do you have to procure evidence from sources outside of the police service? For example, if there's an incident on Independence Square and there's CCTV cameras.
Any public body. We can get evidence from any public body.
Have you gotten evidence from public bodies when for example, video evidence? Can you
Yes.
ask or demand or legally require a private enterprise or a public body to supply evidence, including video footage?
Yes, and we have done that before in the past, and let me tell you, they are very willing to assist the PCA in their investigation. Once we show them the proper the letter we issue, the standard letter we issue, and they cite in the act, and it goes to their legal department, they understand that what we're doing is legitimate and it is for the good of the country. And yes, we do get video footage from private and public bodies.
There was an incident in Independence Square about 2-3 years ago. I think it was just
Yes.
before COVID,
Correct.
where police were in pursuit of a car with some young men.
Yes.
I think the car ended up crashing somewhere in Independence Square, probably in the vicinity of Central Bank Towers or Republic Bank, somewhere there.
Republic Bank, yes.
Republic Bank, and the end of the encounter was that the young men inside the car were shot. I think they died.
Yeah.
Had that issue come to the attention of the PCA, did you investigate that?
Yes, Paul, we investigated that matter. We made recommendations, and that has gone for a coroner's inquest.
Oh, describe to us what a coroner's inquest is, please.
Well, when a person dies and they're not sure of how the person has died, it goes for a coroner's inquest before a coroner, which is really a magistrate, to hear the evidence to determine whether or not the death was lawful or unlawful. And let me tell you,
case?
Pardon?
Did you get footage in that case?
Yes, we did get footage in that case. And let me take it a step further. I know, Paul, you were in Parliament in 2020, 2021, when the Act was amended to allow the PCA to become an interested party in coroner's inquests. That is working. Paul, you don't know how that has increased our work, which was very good, but the coroners call upon us to come into the inquest now in fatal police shootings and see what evidence we can give or try to assist them in getting witnesses. Because Paul, from 2015 or before, we have evidence or information on most police-involved shootings. So we have all the evidence, the statements that they need, and the police say they can't get. So we are there to take part in the inquest and assist the coroner. We are involved in 19 matters so far, and I know, and I have been personally involved in about 4 or 5 matters that are currently going on. So that Paul really was Parliament at its best working, and I want to thank you and all the parliamentarians for that amendment to the Coroner's Act, because we are really fully involved in all coroner's inquests now. What we will do now is it will speed up the coroner's inquest, and we have all the evidence available for the coroner to hear both sides, a balanced story, to determine what he or she should recommend.
And for a lot of people listening this morning, Mr. West, they would find the process long, inordinately long and drawn out. When in some cases they look at it and find it obvious. How is that to be dealt with?
Well, it is long, and the adjourned dates are long, but there is a backlog, and I don't think anybody could argue that there's not a backlog in the criminal justice system. I know the recent amendments of a JIPA and all the judge alone trials, all that will take some time to filter down. But I see that, you know, the workload or the burden from the magistracy has moved to the masters and the High Court judges. So we can get more, the coroner's inquest now can, you know, they will have more time to do the coroner's inquest. And all I will say, it will take time, but I think that there's been an increase in the amount of judges hired, magistrates. So I'm hoping that, you know, the efficiency and the speed of the criminal justice system would benefit the public of Trinidad and Tobago.
Is the PCA involved currently in the investigation of the police-involved deaths in St. Augustine and recently in Central Trinidad?
Yes, Paul.
So those are ongoing investigations? Ongoing.
Every police fatal and non-fatal shooting, the PCA investigates.
No, do you have your interventions and your report impacted the police use of force policy at all, and training regarding the use of force policy?
That's a good question, Paul. I cannot say whether or not the PCA has impacted upon the use of force policy and the training, because we don't do training on use of force policy. But what I can say is that in every police-involved shooting, there's always a line in the report saying that the police acted on the use of force policy. So the police are aware of the policy. They are aware what they should and should not do.
But I asked the question based on the fact that there's a recent, and I can't verify whether it's actually accurate or not, but it was reported in one of the major dailies that the police were involved in an encounter with people who where guns were found in the vehicle after the report didn't state whether there was an exchange of gunfire. I think the police indicated they felt their lives were under threat. So sometimes there's and I fully endorse police defending their own lives.
And I do, Paul.
I fully endorse that the criminal element should not be made to feel that police will not accelerate the situation if they feel that their lives are threatened.
That's
but
correct.
Course, like in the US, like in the UK, like in other jurisdictions, there is sometimes a very fine line between, what you can identify as the proper policy being followed or not if you don't have the evidence to follow the situation as it went along. How does that impact your investigations when there's no body cam footage, when there's no, in some instances, there's no CCTV footage, when you are depending on a police account versus an eyewitness or family account, and both sides may have their own interests to support?
Well, what we do is we try to get the civilian side of the version of events. If it was a fatal police shooting, for example, we try to get the independent, this footage if it is available, and we get the police reports and we evaluate them. Of course, what is important is the forensic evidence in terms of the post-mortem report, where we can see how many bullets were fired, the angle of the bullets, whether or not he shot in his back or his front. So there are various methods that the investigators can use and that we do use to evaluate the evidence and come to a decision.
Another issue that is, I guess, I think may come to your attention, and you can tell me if we are wrong, is the issue of reports against officers who may be subject to domestic violence accusations.
Yes.
And because police are precepted, they have, in some instances, can take home firearms.
Yes.
There are some instances we've seen in the public domain, not only in the police service, but in other law enforcement agencies where it's ended quite tragically. And you hear stories that women and men make reports that, well, they're the subject of domestic violence and they fear for their lives. Do those kinds of reports come to you? And what is the prevalence of those types of reports?
Yes, those reports do come to us. The reports have been increasing within the last 2 to 3 years of domestic violence, of officers with firearms threatening either civilians or other female officers. There was one example recently that the deputy director dealt with. She liaised with me on the matter, but I can tell you that there was an incident, and the deputy was able to contact the commissioner of police, explain to her what was transpiring. The commissioner of police then went to the house and seized the firearm from the officer and awaited our investigations to give her the backing or to show the evidence of the complaints and the reports made. So the commissioner was very proactive. She understood an investigation was going on. This could be end badly, and she diffused it by taking away the firearm.
So the commissioner went herself and
not
seized
the commissioner.
She sent an officer to seize.
She sent officers to seize the officer.
Well, that action is very commendable on the part of the commissioner.
It is very commendable, and it shows that that trust, because it was the deputy said, we're compiling the file. It will be ready in 1 or 2 days. But before that, listen, the matter is escalating. Please do something about it before it gets bad, and she did. So that is very commendable on the commissioner of police.
Well, let me ask this question then. Do you encounter pressures from the police officers in case of senior officers involved in these things? Pressures as to back off?
No, that would never happen. I mean, I've never encountered that, and I don't think my investigators have encountered that because they'd have complained to me. But if an officer does that, that would be a serious offense, and that would be definitely investigated.
Okay. But do you get also apprehension from them to further investigation?
What we do sometimes, and this is what I was talking about earlier, the officers will say, well, we need a letter from the commissioner of police to authorize you to look at the station diaries, or we need a letter, this letter is not good enough. So, and when they're not aware of our powers. So some of them try to, I would say, I won't say they deliberately try to slow down the investigation, but what they do is, because they don't know the law, they don't give us the evidence in a timely manner. Yeah. But that is easily fixed, because I would then speak with the senior officer in charge of the division or the station, and once I talk to them, they would then allow us to go in and view the books or whatever matter we wanted.
And you did say earlier on, sorry, Paul, you did say earlier on your relationship with the PSB is good, and you're satisfied with the work that they're doing there? Because we have had issues over the PSB on this show. Eh?
No, Miss Martin was there, and we had a good relationship. Mr. Marshan is there, who I discuss things with, and we have a good relationship. And also the other officers I call in the PSP. So I have not encountered any difficulties. As far as I know, they're overburdened. They're doing a lot of work, and they're trying. You know, so I cannot say anything negative about the PSB at all. Or in fact, about most of the other units in the police service that I interact with. It's mainly comes from the division or the station, the typical station that may want to give us make it a little difficult for us to obtain the evidence, but not generally speaking in the police service, no.
Now, I know we've had discussions about this before, but has there been any progress made on your recommendations to the Office of the Attorney General for continued evolution of the Police Complaints Authority Act to give the authority more power in specific areas that you asked for, that you think will more effectively empower the authority to do its job better?
Well, there is, there's always a burden. Just to let the public know that we do not arrest, charge, or prosecute anybody. We do the investigation, and we make a referral to the commissioner of the police or the commissioner or the director of public prosecutions. There has always been the feeling that when somebody comes to the PCA to makes a complaint, they expect it to be resolved by the PCA, because that's who they made the complaint to. So there's the feeling that we should maybe prosecute our matters because we have the evidence. We get things quicker, and we don't have a backlog, and we could be more efficient in that manner. It's been discussed informally with the Attorney General, but we have not sat down we have not put forward a policy document on that, because Paul, you would understand that going to Parliament would be a whole discussion. It will be a huge debate, because we are a civilian-based body. We are not a prosecutorial body. So therefore, that change has to come from Parliament. All right, and I don't know if that is what the direction that the government or a government may want to go, whether or not to hand us the power to prosecute our matters. So that's a whole discussion that needs.
That's a really big move to it.
Exactly. So
that's running concurrently with the Office of the DPP.
Well, yes, but some bodies do prosecute matters, like the EMA example, do prosecute. And the DPP, we have spoke. If the DPP gives us a fiat, for example, we can prosecute our matters, because we have attorneys in our office that can prosecute. And we've spoken to the DPP about that, and he has said yes, in certain matters he would grant the fiat. So there is that going on, but I think before we reach that stage, there are other things we can do, like the amendment to the coroner's inquest and other amendments we can do to still remain within that ambit of a civilian body. For example, in the COM in Jamaica, they had an issue where they went to the Privy Council because they were charging persons or arresting persons, and the Privy Council said, no, you can't do that. That is not within your remit. You are a civilian-based body. So we want to make sure that if we do put in the policy, we have the correct, proper research, and everything, all that is done properly before we could move forward to put it to any Attorney General.
Anything else you want to add before we close, David West?
Yeah, well, we're having a outreach coming up on the 17th of September at City Hall, Port of Spain City Hall, and then I guess later on the 26th in San Fernando. But anybody, I want persons to come out to City Hall on the 17th between 6 and 8 o'clock, hear what the PCA has to offer, and we're actually doing footage on the body cameras and to show the public what the body camera can do and how it should be operated.
Should the public be the target of that, or the police service?
Well, the police could come too.
The police could come too.
The public is doing quite well with their body cams.
Yes, but I know. But we want the public to come and to give them a better idea, to make sure that to know, understand, and hear what we can do, and what we can and cannot do. So I look forward to a large turnout, and I want to see. I want to field questions. I like to field questions. That's more interactive. It's more of a conversation between us and the public. I mean, we're targeting up to St. Augustine, San Juan Barataria, Laventille, Port of Spain area, Belmont, all the hotspot areas. So
it's a series of interfaces?
Well, we're doing Port of Spain, San Fernando, and then we have to get Tobago.
Okay.
Before the end of the year.
Send me a WhatsApp so I can remind them on the 16th and the 17th, please.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Right. David West, thanks for being with us this morning. Thank you for your continued service, and we appreciate you being with us.
I appreciate the time. Thank you. Have a good day, gentlemen.
All right. Take care. David. Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right.
All right.
Legislation sets the tone for how we treat each other as a society. It provides those boundaries and the expectations, and it also upholds the rights of all of the citizens.
Legislation is important for everyone in society as it sets rules and regulations that create an organized, safe, and fair environment in which everyone is equal.
They formed the opinion that because you have a disability, that you are somehow unintelligent, stupid, ridiculously asinine, you name it. So legislation is quite important, and I hope that legislation is soon coming so that people with disabilities can be who they are. People first, disabilities after.
Which happened at 8:46 in the morning.
All right, let's hear you now.
You hear me better?
Oh, wonderful.
Plenty better.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Fantastic. Thank you, David.
Sure, no problem.
I had to pull you out the feed you were wondering, you got up to get your headphones. We were hoping you were fully dressed, We didn't
Of course I was. We
didn't want to give them any extra ratings this morning.
No.
All right, thanks for joining us. Of course, David West is the director of the Police Complaints Authority.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw recently that you made some comments on the issue of police body cams, TTPS body cams, and you were you were advocating for more consistent use of body cams. What has your data from the PCA side told you about the issues that would have come to your attention, the reports that would have come to your attention, and how often police were wearing body cams?
Okay, the police, for the fatal police shootings thus far that we have investigated, we have not received any body cam footage from the police service. However, there were instances where there were non-fatal shootings and the police were wearing body cameras. However, for some reason, we did not obtain the footage because the footage was lost when in translation. So the short answer is, Paul, that we've had no body cam footage from the police service.
Put a full stop, a comma there. You have not received footage from fatal encounters involving police.
Correct.
At all.
At all.
And for the ones that are non-fatal, where there was body cam footage, the footage was lost. What does that mean?
Well, in one matter, for example, they said the footage, the officer didn't turn on the camera. He had it on, but it wasn't turned on. And in another instance, it had fallen in some mud. And we didn't get the footage.
I didn't mean to laugh, eh? I didn't. My apologies for laughing. My goodness.
The camera fell into mud, and so the footage was not available.
Yes.
Have you had conversations with the Commissioner of Police about, or the DCP probably in charge of operations regarding these developments? Because the police leadership is on record as saying that their policy indicates that, particularly in high-stakes encounters, body cam, the wearing of body cam and the use of body cams, which police have been trained in, is standard operating procedure.
No, we haven't had discussions. I've written letters on advice via under the Act. We could issue advice to the Commissioner of Police. I've done that. I've had other discussions with other officers regarding body-worn cameras, informally, well, and formally, but I have not spoken with the Commissioner directly on the issue of the body-worn cameras. I saw Mr. Benjamin said, in an interview that they will make a better effort in wearing the body cameras. I am informed that they have ordered about 3,000 body cameras, and that should be rolled out sometime in, I think, in September, October, and later on next year. So I am waiting patiently to see what happens with this when this first batch of body cameras is rolled out. I hope that with all the publicity surrounding the issue of body cameras now, the police will do the right thing and they would wear the body cameras on these investigations, and especially when it may or may not involve a police-involved shooting. For example, when they're going on a search warrant to search for arms and ammunition, for example, or when the task force is going on a operation.
When I heard you say that just about the body cam fell into the mud, and that you've written to the Commissioner and you haven't received responses, I'm actually taking deep breaths to maintain my composure, to be very honest. My reaction is actually one of a little anger because of the gravity of the situation, because it's almost like, you don't need to answer this. It's almost, I get the impression that the police service is taking us for fools. And you don't have to concur, but that's the impression I get when I hear this from someone like you in your position, who have the constitutional remit to get information, data, and cooperation from the police service to investigate police conduct.
Well, let me ask David Paul, what was your reaction when that was told to you, Mr. West?
Well, in this job, you're given a lot of red herrings, all right? And so what I did is that we just wrote the Commissioner on the file, stating that this happened and this was said, and please talk to your officers or make sure it doesn't happen again.
I don't know let me move on from this. How cooperative have you ever received body cam footage from the police at all?
No body cam footage.
Never.
In
the history of your tenure as director of the Police Complaints Authority in investigating allegations of police misconduct, substantiated or not, you have never received body cam footage from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service?
As far as I know, looking through the files, we have never had body cam footage. We've had camera footage from cell phones, CCTV footage, etc., but never a body-worn camera issued to the TTPS.
How disturbing is that to you, given the police position on the use of body cams, the police having invested taxpayers' dollars in body cams that they now have in their position, the police investing time in training in the use of body cams, the police ordering 3,000 more body cams, the Minister of National Security on record as saying, as far as he's been told, body cam use as part of standard operating procedure. The police leadership saying police body cam use as part of standard operating procedure. But you, as the director of the PCS, are now able to say, hopefully uncontrovertibly, that you have never received footage from the police service in investigating these issues.
Yeah, that is correct, Paul. We have not received video footage, body cam footage.
Let me ask this question then, Mr. West. Are you aware, were you ever made aware in any of the investigations that have come before you that there was in fact body cam footage but was not provided outside of the camera that fell in the mud and the ones that were lost in charge? Are you aware of any other incident that there was in fact body cam footage but it wasn't provided to you?
Well, if there was body cam footage and it wasn't provided to me, that would be a breach of the act. And, you know, there are sanctions for that. But as far as I know, from our investigations we have done thus far, we have not received any body-worn camera footage from the TTPS.
Let's widen the conversation. Body cam footage is evidence that you can use in investigating. And very often we think because the PC is investigating, it automatically means police officers are guilty of something. That's not so. You're investigating to ascertain whether or not allegations of improper conduct are true or not. And very often they are proven to be incorrect and unsubstantiated. Correct?
That is correct, yes.
So
that
people,
is correct.
very often they get this impression that, well, the PC out to get the police, and that is not true. The PC is a constitutional unit. Do you, given that you have not received body cam footage, do you get a sense that you have access to or have received other forms of evidence in your investigation of issues that come to your attention or are reported to you?
Yes, we do get evidence, other forms of evidence. We get the station diary extracts, we get the forensic evidence, we get all the other evidence, Paul, that we request and that we know of. Okay, and how we do know that is because sometimes we audit the police file, so we see the types of evidence that the police can get from when we order the file. For example, we get E99 calls. When there's a call out, we can get that. We know the vehicles that were used. We know the officers involved. So we do get detailed reports from the police, which I'm thankful for. But when we're talking about the body-worn camera footage, we do not get that footage. We get all the other evidence, but for some reason, you know, the body-worn camera footage is non-existent.
Have you ever received dash cam footage? Or in some of the cars, they have an overhead camera. Have you ever received footage from those?
Not as far as I'm aware, no.
So video footage has not formed part of the evidence that has been provided by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service to the Police Complaints Authority.
Yes.
Do you have cause to interact with the Police Service Commission for any reason?
The commissioner or commission?
Commission.
Yes, I do interact with the Police Service Commission, yes.
Because the Police Service Commission evaluates the performance of the commissioner or the deputy commissioners, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Does the issue of that level of accountability ever come up in those conversations? I'm not expecting you to divulge confidential conversations, but as part of their assessment, has that been asked of you?
Okay, I'll to answer that question. I don't want the for reasons of confidentiality. We are asked. PCA is given a form to evaluate the commissioner and deputy commissioner, and I won't go into details about what is on and what is not on the form.
And I'm assuming that's a constitutional remit.
Well, yes.
Form. It is.
Well, it's from the Police Service Commission.
Okay.
These PCA publishes annual reports on
yes.
on reports and investigations regarding the TTPS in general. Would you say that you are seeing more reports that you have to investigate? And if you could give us a sense of the trends that you're seeing regarding your 21, 22, 23, 24 reports versus what comes out of the investigations regarding police issues and misconduct. Is there an improvement because of the oversight mechanism in terms of what you can see? Or are there areas that you think that there needs to be improvement? Because I know you provide recommendations also.
Well, there are always areas of improvement. And what we have found was that the reports have been increasing. For example, I could tell you that in 2024 to 2015, 1 year, we had 321 complaints. Then in 2017 to 2018, we had 420 complaints. And then it peaked in 2022-23 when we had 713 complaints. So from 2014 to 2024, June of this year, we've had 4,411 complaints. Of that, 495 matters were referred to the Commissioner of Police, 121 matters referred to the DPP, 66 matters referred to both COP and DPP, and we proffered advice to the Commissioner of Police on 219 matters. And regarding the Police Service Commission, we offered advice on 1 matter to the Police Service Commission.